The Gator Nation has reconvened. Football Saturday in Gainesville means food, fun, and the defending national champions. The first Gator walk of the new season has been completed, and now it's time to play. Why can't they? Why can't the Florida Gators become the first team to win back-to-back BCS championships? First of all, they are led by one of the most charismatic leaders in the history of college football. Tim Tebow's promise last season was matched by his heart and his skills and carried the Gators all the way to the national title. And yes, he's back again. Defense, ready as well. All 11 starters return, led by National Defensive Player of the Year, Brandon Spikes. Complacency? Not under Urban Meyer. Not only is he the most successful coach in the SEC since he's been at Florida, but he has also won 2 national championships in his 4 years in Gainesville. So, is Florida ready to do something that hasn't been achieved since the inception of the BCS in 1998? The journey, the pursuit of history, and the answers to many of those questions start tonight. The Gators open the 2009 season right now on SEC College Football Saturday. Welcome, everyone, to this exclusive presentation of Southeastern Conference football, presented by Phillips HD. This is the Swamp, Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, and historic Florida Field in Gainesville, Florida. And our game tonight, the Charleston Southern Buccaneers against the top-ranked Florida Gators. The Gators are the 2006 and 2008 national champions, and they are ready to take the field for the first time in a brand new year, and we'll be here to bring it all your way with SEC football on this Saturday night. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our coverage of SEC football. Bob Rathman, my partner, is Dave Archer. The Gators are the defending national champions, as we know, and Dave, they're the most prohibitive preseason favorite in the history of college football. The question is, can they repeat?
Yes, they can, and 2 reasons come to mind. They return all 11 starters from the 4th stingiest defense in the country, and oh, by the way, Superman is back on campus. Tim Tebow returns for his senior year. We're going to see some familiar faces making some plays. We're going to see some fresh new faces making plays for the Gators tonight. But what it is about tonight, it's about reloading the playmaking Gator machine.
This is the moment that the Gator Nation has been waiting for since last January's championship game. The chance in full throat to welcome their national champions back to Gainesville. And the 2009 Gators are just about set to take the field. The Gators are making their way out of the locker room. And practically 90,000 stand as one to welcome them. One of the most famous welcomes that a team can enjoy in all of college football. Yes, indeed, the Gators are back. And they are chomping to get on that field. Here they come. Comes Superman. The Gators are back in the Swamp. The first opponent is Charleston Southern. When we come back, we'll have the kickoff and get it going from Gainesville in just a moment. The teams have had the pregame handshake. We're getting set for the kickoff between Charleston Southern and Florida. Let's welcome the third member of our broadcast crew for SEC football. And down on the field we go to Jen Heldreth.
Hello, Bob. So glad to be down here with you guys. And let's talk a little bit about the opponent for tonight, the Charleston Southern Buccaneers from the Big South Conference in Charleston, South Carolina. Now, this will be their first taste of the SEC. They've never played an SEC opponent, but they are 0-16 against schools from the Football Bowl subdivision. So a bit of a challenge there for them, but they wanted to come in this game. They've got 42 kids on their roster from the state of Florida. And head coach Jay Mills said, look, this is great exposure for our school to come out and show we can play hard.
The head coach at Charleston Southern is this man, Jay Mills, in his 7th season as the Buccaneers head coach. A school of 3,200 students playing this behemoth of college football, Urban Meyer and the Florida Gators. Urban an 83% winning percentage all time, 2 national championships, 4 conference champions, 5 bowl wins in his first 8 years as a head coach. The weather conditions, and it is a muggy 80 degrees with that 81% humidity. Wind out of the east and a partly cloudy forecast for the evening. Had a few sprinkles earlier this afternoon. Charleston Southern has won the toss and they have elected to receive, so it'll be a few minutes before Mr. Tebow and company take the field. But it doesn't matter whether you're opening with a game like Charleston Southern or in a big rivalry game, Dave. The emotions of getting a new season underway, that's something that every college football player feels no matter what.
Well, and not just the football players, but the fans here in Gainesville. This huge crowd that always flocks to the Swamp are anxious and ready to get this season underway and try to defend a national championship here in Florida.
The Gators come out. And now the return team for the Buccaneers in what has to be a very intimidating scene for Gerald Stevenson and these Buccaneers. Caleb Sturgis is going to be the kickoff man for Florida. And there is Gerald Stevenson back on his own goal line to get this thing underway. The wait has been a long one. But football season is here, and I know you've enjoyed a big day of college football already. Great to have you with us as toe meets leather for 2009. And the kick will sail out of bounds, untouched. And Charleston Southern will come out of there with some pretty decent field position to start their opening drive. The quarterback
out of bounds
of the Buccaneers is A.J. Toscano, a redshirt junior out of Los Angeles. Takes over the helm here at Charleston Southern after Clemson transferred. Tribble Reese was the quarterback a year ago. Toscano is in his 2nd year in the program. He played just a half of football last year, then took a medical redshirt, and he will lead the Buccaneers out onto the field.
This staff for Charleston Southern, all to a man, commented on the toughness of the A.J. Toscano. He's going to have to display it tonight against the Gators.
1st and 10 from the 40. And it is complete to Stevenson. And he takes it over the 50 for a first down into Florida territory at the 48. The Charleston Southern offensive line, as we check our Toyota starting lineups. Levi McFadder. Jarrett Johns is a native of Gainesville, as is Antoine Ivy from nearby Newberry, Florida. And a chance to come here as a preferred walk-on, but opted to take the scholarship route and play at Charleston Southern. Now, how about that? A first down on the first play. Now the toss, and Stevenson spins on the corner and gets it inside the 45 to the 43. Wandy Pierre-Louis coming up with the tackle for Florida. The Toyota starters up front for the Gators. Carlos Dunlap, what a magnificent end he is. Ryan Stamper, the leader of the incredible linebacking core. And in the secondary, Will Hill had a fantastic camp. He starts at strong safety with the major at free safety. This is DeMarcus Moon. to the 40. So for this first game, our principal edge keys tonight, and Dave Archer for Charleston Southern, they've come out and they're enjoying every bit of this so far.
They sure are. They have executed the first 3 plays out of the box extremely well, but take in the moment. This is your grand stage. Enjoy the moment. And for Florida, they want to play fast and clean, and right now Charleston Southern has given some problems to them in the first drive.
Toscano met and dropped. Back at the 42, Brandon Spikes. Got some help from A.J. Jones.
Well, all 3 linebackers are going to get in on this play. They wanted to throw the swing to the left side and no place to go. Toscano does the right thing, tucks the football, tries to get the first down himself, but all 3 linebackers for the Gators met him at the door.
Brandon Spikes leading the Gators with those 93 tackles. Andy Brown's punt. Returned by James from the 7. And out to the 11, and that's where the Gators will start offensively.
Excellent coverage right there that time, Bob, by Andrew McCain, who we're going to see on defense. Outstanding linebacker, also the deep snapper for Charleston Southern. Hustled down to make that play on maybe the most elusive returner in the game in Brandon James.
So Tim Tebow begins his final season. And you can hear the crowd getting behind him as he straps on the helmet for the first time of this new season. A man who I am safe in saying has transcended his position in the history of the game. On the ground, and Demps takes it over the 15 to the 17. Our Toyota starters for Florida. James Wilson moves up to start at left guard. That pushes Carl Johnson over to left tackle to start the game. The Pouncey twins are back, along with Marcus Gilbert at right tackle. An incredible core of backs and receivers, speed plus. And not only will we see Demps at tail, we'll see Chris Rainey, we'll see Emmanuel Moody. A lot of great Gators just waiting for their opportunity.
And that's really what they are. They're trying to fill a couple of holes. Lewis Murphy and Percy Harvin have moved on to the NFL.
Tebow floats it to Hernandez. Out at the 23. The Buccaneers defensively lost 7 of their top 11 tacklers from a year ago. Austin Blundorm at the nose started 4 games last year. You talked about McCain, Dave. And in that secondary, James, Bach, Coosdale, and Bazile, all native Floridians.
We saw the versatility of Aaron Hernandez on that last play, the tight end. He should be featured this year for Tebow.
Tim looking long. It's complete. Riley Cooper out of bounds at the 9. A 67-yard pass play.
Riley Cooper, a big, tall, wide receiver, 6'3", 215 pounds, just lets the doors open and blows by the secondary. A little underthrown from Tebow, but a great adjustment by Cooper. And a good job actually getting him out of bounds after the catch.
Demps, touchdown, Florida.
Boy, it's a great block right there. Number 55, Mike Pouncey, blows the hole open for Jeff Demps. And all Demps needs is just a crack. And at 4-3, he's in the end zone.
Jonathan Phillips, now in the Florida Law School, in to kick the PAT. And he drills it to make it 7-0. So the Gators march down the field in style. Demps puts them on the board. Timeout in Gainesville. 7-0 Florida. Charlie Strong gathers his Gators 7-0 as Florida has taken the lead on an 89-yard drive that took 1:26. Demps had the 9-yard touchdown run.
Marquise Pouncey right here gets the block, and then James Wilson's going to flow through and set it up, and straight ahead comes Jeffrey Demps. Excellent job on the outside also by Carl Johnson, who slid to the outside pregame. We thought he might start at goal. He would start at guard. He slid out the tackle. James Wilson at the guard. Pretty good job by those two guys, not knowing they were going to start before the game.
Stevenson from the 7. And a good special teams tackle that time by Mike Gillislee, the freshman from DeLand. That's a good way for these young Gators to earn playing time.
And no question about it. Urban Meyer coaches the special teams himself, obviously delegates certain parts of it, but he oversees the special teams, and he has his best players on special teams, and he expects them to play at the highest level.
A.J. Toscano is the quarterback for the Buccaneers on 1st and 10 from the 19. Stevenson in motion. Over the middle it comes to Ivy. Omar Hunter, 99. The redshirt freshman from Buford, Georgia.
Excellent job by the defensive line to retrace their steps. Omar Hunter, also William Green, a part of the play. Those defensive line, it's not just those smaller guys that are fast. The big people in Florida can run as well.
2nd and 10. Trying to turn it is Mike Jefferson. He carries a couple of Gators with him up to the 24. With everyone back, this Florida Gator defense is expected to be among the nation's best. Microscopic numbers, Dave, from a year ago in terms of points per games allowed. They got so much of their defense with those great turnovers.
Yeah, led the country in interceptions. They were the 4th stingiest in the country. Only 58 points allowed all last year in 14 games in the first half.
On 3rd down, Stevenson with the catch and run. He's got the first down. Out to the 32. The Charleston Southern coaches were telling us during the week that they felt like Stevenson had the speed to be a factor in this game.
Stevenson's the one kid on the field that probably matches speed-wide along with Florida, but a good job right there. 27, Tim Jones gets the block down the field on the throw behind the line of scrimmage and gets Gerald Stevenson the running room. Now Stevenson, if he can find some room, he has the ability to go the distance.
Toscano, but a penalty flag. Matt Moore is tonight's referee.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 73 of the offense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Remains first down.
The big left tackle, Levi McFadder. And whenever you got a guy like Jermaine Cunningham, or you've got Carlos Dunlap lined out wide, and you know he's your guy, there's a tendency maybe to come out of that stance just a little bit quick.
1st and 15.
I like what Charleston Southern's doing, though. They're trying to attack the perimeter of Georgia, or of Florida, I'm sorry.
A.J. Toscano rifling it past Stevenson. Jay Mills and the Buccaneers think it over. Now get the play in to their quarterback, Toscano. Just under 9 to go in this first quarter, 8:59. And a 7-0 Gator lead.
Well, I was really impressed talking to Jay Mills we had a chance to get him on the phone and talk with him. Impressive man. He's really made this program something special at Charleston Southern.
The play clock was not an issue. Let's see what the call is.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 73 of the offense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. 2nd down.
So that will push him back 5-4 and turn it into a 2nd down and 20.
Well, I mentioned Levi McFadder's quandary, if you will. Carlos Dunlap is lined up over big number 73, and Dunlap goes 6'6", 290, and led the Gators in sacks last year with 9.5.
Toscano breaks a tackle over the 30 to the 33 and regains the penalty yardage before Brandon Spikes stopped him.
We talked about Carlos Dunlap, the leading sacker. Good job by McFadder to push him around the play. We had a design quarterback run that time by Toscano through the middle. He knew that all I have to do is run the big fella around the pile. He did that. Good job by McFadder to run Carlos Dunlap out of the play, and then Toscano with some good tough running.
You talked about Dunlap and how athletic he is. In high school, he was a punt returner.
Wow.
At defensive end. And this ball is going to be incomplete. Joe Hayden defending.
The one thing about Florida's speed, and Joe Hayden is one of the faster corners in the country, is you have to be able to threaten them vertically. And if you don't have the speed to threaten them vertically, then Joe Hayden and the other corners on Florida's team are going to sit down on your routes. That's what they did there. They just squatted on the out route and were able to break up and bat the ball down on 3rd and 10.
Andy Brown averaged 36 yards a punt as a true freshman for Charleston Southern last season. And Brandon James waiting, but lets this punt fall to the turf at the 38. And we have a timeout. 7:49 to go in the opening quarter. 7-0 Florida.
I'm Fred Hickman here in our Atlanta studio with an SEC update for you. Action already on the books. Number 13, Georgia, taking on number 11, Oklahoma State today. Second quarter, it's 7-0 Georgia, but Zach Robinson connects with Des Bryant, one of his 2 touchdowns on the day. 24-10, Oklahoma State wins. Now back to Bob and Dave in Gainesville.
Thank you very much, Fred Hickman. 7-0 Florida leading Charleston Southern here with 7:49 remaining in the first quarter. That was an anticipated matchup in the top 25 this Saturday, that Georgia-Oklahoma State game.
Yeah, tough trip for Georgia to go out all the way out to Stillwater against an Oklahoma State team that will compete for the Big 12 title.
Tim Tebow bringing the Gators back out at 1st and 10 from the 38 midway through the opening quarter. And a whistle. Emmanuel Moody has come into the game for Florida at the running back position. Demps on the first series, and now Moody on the second.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 6 of the offense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
And that's Deontay Thompson.
And that's the one that really bothers you as a coach when your wide receiver jumps. He's not supposed to be watching or listening for snap count anyway. He's supposed to be looking inside for the ball movement. So you shouldn't get any movement from an outside receiver. When we talked to Urban Meyer, he wanted to play clean and fast. That's what he wants to eliminate right there.
Incomplete. Thompson had green grass in front of him, but just off his fingertips.
Wow, you cannot turn and hand a man the football better than this throw is right here. We saw the speed from Deontay Thompson. Just blows by the corner to the outside, and a well-thrown ball. I mean, a perfect throw from Tim Tebow. The question here in Florida was who's going to step up and take Lewis Murphy's spot. Lewis Murphy, big-time playmaker for him on the outside at wide receiver. He's moved on to the Raiders in the NFL. Deontay Thompson, a great opportunity to quiet some of the critics right there.
And the first, another penalty flag flies. The other guy,
prior to the snap,
Percy Harvin.
Delay a game on the offense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Second down.
But those are 2 guys, and Harvin being the second we talked about in terms of big play capability, and Tebow had such an enormous trust factor with those 2.
Yeah, the other guy, Percy Harvin.
The other guy.
All Harvin accounted for was about 1,300 yards on his own.
and 17 TDs. Combine those two guys, over 1,900 yards and 24 touchdowns to replace for the Gators.
Inside handoff, Moody to the 34. Down to the field, and Jim.
Well, Bob, you guys talked about the receivers. You know, I think no group on this Florida team may have better motivation than the receivers, because as you talked about, everybody wants to know who's going to replace Percy Harvin and Lewis Murphy. And these guys, they don't like being called a question mark or a weakness. David Nelson, I talked to, he said, yeah, we want to come out and prove that we can do this job and carry this team. So far, jury's still out, I'd say.
3rd down and 14. Tebow. Outstanding protection, but throws it at the feet and incomplete of Aaron Hernandez.
Good job by Charleston Southern that time. Take away the deep throw to David Nelson. Jen Hildreth just mentioned David Nelson on the deep post route. Good job of taking him away down the field. And then with great protection, Tebow could not find another open receiver. So Charleston Southern's back 7 rises up right there to force the punt.
So Florida will punt. Chaz Henry, Ray Gott Award semifinalist last year, averaged 43 yards per punt. 3rd in the league a year ago. His first punt of the new year. Ivy calls it a fair catch and protects it at the 25. So a 7-0 ball game in favor of the Gators with 6:53, and for all the talk about the Gators lighting up the scoreboard early and often, that hasn't turned out. Well,
it looks like right now Charleston Southern has weathered the early storm, and really coming on the field was part of that. In front of this throng of 92,000 here at the Swamp, to be able to weather that, the Gators score early on a 2-play drive, and now they've kind of settled into the football game.
Quarterback keeper for Toscano. Rolled up at the line of scrimmage. Terrence Sanders, the backup defensive tackle. So how do you prepare for this kind of speed? We again go to the field for the answer, and Jen.
Well, I'll do my best to answer that for you, Bob. I talked to A.J. Toscano about that, and he said the biggest thing that we cannot assimilate is their speed. But the way they tried to do it, offensive coordinator Chuck Kelly told us, he said he took some of his best athletes like Gerald Stevenson and put them on defense to try to get that speed coming out of his offense. So far, though, Stevenson been a favorite target in this game.
And a quick throw intended for Stevenson. A bit wide and incomplete.
Again, trying to work the perimeter of Florida's defense. They realize they're not big enough, probably not fast enough inside between the tight end spots to compete with Florida. They'll mix a few shots in there, but they want to work the edges, and Stevenson is the guy they'd like to get the football to. Toscano, when he gets one set up, and that was nicely set up to the outside, a screen to Toscano, he's got to be on, or a screen to Stevenson, he's got to be on target.
Toscano hit his first 3 passes. He's missed his last 3. 3rd and 8. This throw complete. And a first down for the Buccaneers at the 36-yard line. Making the grab is Kwame Kreku.
Kreku at the top of the screen. Going to break to the inside on the slant. Nice job breaking inside. Alex Neal, number 7, took the defender away, opened up the hole for Toscano, and an excellent job of squeezing the football right there with Joe Hayden closing by Kreku.
His 21st career reception. Redshirt junior from Orangeburg, South Carolina. Toscano has time, delivers the ball down the sideline. A penalty flag. And incomplete, stops the clock at 5:44.
Yeah, it looked like Wandy Pierre Louis, the corner for Florida, got a little tangled up with Kreku.
This is not the
holding. Number 4 of the defense on an eligible receiver. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
This is not the clean getaway Coach Meyer wanted.
Yeah, Wandy Pierre Louis working one-on-one here, and you see the right hand grab Kreku as he's trying to come out of the break. Man-to-man coverage right there. Kreku did a good job of selling the inside part of the route and then trying to fight outside. Wandy Pierre knew he was in a bad spot, and he held.
First and 10 at the 46. 3 Gator first quarter penalties. Play clock at 3. Incomplete. A lot of blue shirts jumping for that one. Spikes tipped it.
Now the tough part about another tough thing about Florida's defense is finding underneath coverage. Right here is Brandon Spikes. Remember, Spikes had 4 interceptions last year. 2 of them he took back for touchdowns. Here he elevates and almost picks it off. He does a great job of reading the quarterback's eyes. They're so athletic. Again, another position Florida's athletic is at the linebacker spot, and the best of those is Brandon Spikes.
Timeout, Charleston Southern. A little confusion of the transference of the play call from the sideline. So Jay Mills stops the play right there. The clock in the stadium continues to run. They'll have to change that as we step aside for these words. We welcome you back to the Swamp in Gainesville, Florida. Bob Rathman, Dave Archer, Jen Hildreth. They finally figured out the clock situation. It ran down to under 20 seconds. Now reset to 5:39 on a 2nd and 10 after the Buccaneer timeout. Ivy, tough going in the middle of that line, over the 45 to the 47.
It's something that Charleston Southern has to continue to do. They have to continue to probe the middle of the Gator defense. Coach Jay Mills realizes if they'll do anything on the perimeter with the option game or throw the screens, they're going to need to keep Brandon Spikes and the rest of the Gators honest in the middle of the field.
Toscano, 3rd and 9. Going for Stevenson, incomplete.
Trying to get Stevenson the ball up the field this time. Again, he's working one-on-one with Joe Hayden. Hayden, one of the top corners in the country. Joe gets away with a little bit of a hand grab as he leaned to the inside. He has inside man technique, and he reached out and grabbed Stevenson around the waist, and I think that ball was a little better thrown. Stevenson might have gotten some help from the official. What Charleston Southern's going to have to do is they're going to have to go over the top, throw a deep ball to try to get Florida's corners off their wide receivers.
Andy Brown handles the high snap, bounding to Brandon James, and upended at the 24. We talked about it earlier. Urban Meyer's Gators being such an overwhelming preseason #1. The coach says that is not a problem.
I've heard people say that they don't want to be ranked #1, and you know, I made a comment. I'd take it right now if they said you'll be ranked preseason #1. That means we recruited very well. We have good guys and good players, but it's over. It's time to go play.
And the key part of that statement was right at the end. It's over. It's time to go play. And right now, Florida trying to find and they're spinning their wheels a little bit, trying to get something going.
Tebow hands it to Chris Rainey. And Rainey breaks into the clear. He's going to go the distance for the touchdown. 76 yards.
Again, speed kills, Bob.
Yes, sir.
We saw Jeffrey Demps on the quick hitter down inside the 10-yard line, and here is the home run by Chris Rainey.
And Phillips adds the extra point to make it 14-0. Chris Rainey, the 3rd running back that we've seen, and a home run in his first carry of the year.
Well, you have to get blocks down the field. Got a tremendous block from one of the Pouncey brothers, and then a good block from David Nelson in behind. And then Rainey, once Rainey and Demps get into the open field, you are not going to catch him. Got a real good job by the offensive front to block down the field. You saw the monster block from Mike Pouncey, and then Rainey is off to the races, and they normally win those.
Rainey's 5th career touchdown. And that went for 76. That is his longest career rush from scrimmage. We were talking with Steve Adazio, the offensive coordinator, yesterday, Dave, and he said that Chris Rainey is the most elusive guy he's ever had.
Saw a little bit of it right there, Bob. You know, we talk about front-end speed and just running straight ahead, and that's what Jeffrey Demps is. But Rainey's got some shake to him, and when he gets in the secondary, to be able to play off some of those blocks we saw and then gas it like we saw on that big run right there, Chris Rainey has all of that in the package.
So we've seen 3 running backs in the opening quarter for Urban Meyer and the Gators.
As you look at these guys coming into the game tonight, last year, Demps and Rainey both averaged 7.8 yards a carry, and Moody was way off at 7.2.
Stevenson from the 10. Breaks 1 tackle and out to the 19. Well, another impressive sprint down the field. This one by Lorenzo Edwards for the tackle for the Gators. So Charleston Southern down 2 scores.
The key for them here now, Bob, is you got to move the chains. Don't worry about the big plays. Just come out like you have. You've been able to get some first downs against this Gator defense. Got to find a way to continue to move the chains and keep that Florida offense off the field.
Charleston Southern with 4 first downs in the opening quarter. Toscano, a yard, maybe 2. The possession time, 7:51 for Charleston Southern, and just 2 minutes and 35 seconds for the Gators, but of course 2 big plays in their touchdown drives. But I would have to think, Dave, that Charleston Southern has gained a little bit of confidence on the offensive side of the ball.
I would think so, and they have a good plan of attacking the perimeter of Florida.
Toscano turns and throws, and it's going to be complete out to the 32-yard line. Making the grab is Alex Neal, redshirt junior out of Miami, Coral Reef High School. And this is yet another Buccaneer that has a homecoming of sorts. Neal represents one of 42 native Floridians that are getting a chance to play here in the Swamp.
And a lot of people say, why Charleston Southern? Why did they come to play in the Swamp? Well, it's a great opportunity for these young kids to play in front of people they played in front of in high school, played against in high school. Great opportunity for them to come back to their home state and play.
And the quick handoff to Ivy. To the 35. Justin Tratto. 35 is Ahmad Black.
Chuck Kelly, the offensive coordinator for Charleston Southern, really trying to mix things up, mix the looks up. Already Florida has made a little bit of a change defensively. They're coming up and playing a lot more bump and run, man-to-man coverage on the outside, because they sense that that's where they want to get the football.
And how about the depth of this Florida secondary? Black's coming off the bench tonight. Toscano throws, and it's complete. Near midfield into Florida territory. Alex Neal, who made the catch a moment ago, comes up. Black lost his helmet but made the stop. There is a penalty marker down.
And based on the body language of A.J. Toscano, it's going to come back after a big-time completion on the bootleg.
Illegal shift on the offense. 2 men even at the same time. 2nd down.
And that wiped out a big play for Coach Mills.
Yeah, for Jay Mills' crew, he cannot afford those kind of mistakes. You're just not going to get these kind of explosion plays against Florida. Little bootleg off the play they just showed, the sweep handoff. They fake it and throw it back to the inside, using Florida's aggressiveness and speed against them on defense, trying to get them to flow with the run and then throw behind.
It's a big night for the Mills family. Brother Jeff Mills is an assistant coach at Washington. They've got LSU later tonight in Seattle. Ivy. Back to the original line of scrimmage as we wind our way toward the 2-minute mark of this first quarter.
Well, it's kind of so far for Charleston Southern, it's been kind of what we thought. A.J. Toscano moving the ball around to Ivy and to Stevenson and trying to get him the ball in different places, outside on the edge, outside the numbers, between the numbers and the hash, and then every now and then pump someone inside to try to keep Florida honest.
At defensive end, Trapto made a couple of tackles, comes out, Dunlap back in. Dunlap, the defensive end at the bottom of your screen. That pocket collapsed, but he got away, and Toscano completes it out to the 39 to Antoine Ivy.
Pretty nifty move there by A.J. Toscano under heavy pressure. Did a great job of sliding around in the pocket and finding his receiver, Ivy, the running back who leaked out of the backfield. Ivy, a nice catch thrown behind him a little bit, but just not enough. 3rd and long. Got to stay out of those 3rd and long situations if you're going to convert. The penalty really hurt Charleston Southern there.
Homecoming game for Antoine, native of nearby Newberry, a big high school star with the Newberry Panthers. So 4th and 2 will force the punt by Andy Brown. He'll be kicking from his own 25. Brandon James bobbles it. Trying to get to the outside and yanked down before he could get to the 20. And the flag comes with it, a possible face mask here. And will advance the ball for the Gators. A 40-yard punt for Andy Brown.
Well, Brandon's having a tough time fielding the ball on the punt. He's bobbled the ball twice and been upended on one. Good coverage by Charleston Southern, but they're going to get flagged here for a face mask.
2 fouls. Illegal formation on the offense. That penalty will be declined. Then a face mask foul, personal foul, 15 yards, 1st down.
Here's a look at that return.
Yeah, Brandon James had a tough time picking up the football. He's bobbled a couple tonight. This one he does a great job of getting it back on it. But a good coverage, staying in their lanes. They do everything right there. But then the last part of it, grabbing the mask to get Brandon James on the ground.
So with the penalty, the Gators move it out to the 33, 1st and 10. Final seconds of the opening quarter. Tim Tebow waits and gets. Good pressure. Tebow throws, and it's complete. Riley Cooper. 1st down, Gators at the 47.
There's not a lot of quarterbacks that can throw a pass rusher out of the way and then go ahead and throw the ball down the field, and that's what Tebow did here. A rusher clean comes through the side. He throws him out of the way and then shoots it up the field for the 1st down.
On the handoff, Demps. He breaks it. Cuts to the outside. The race is on. And Demps pulled down at the 12 by Charles James. Anything you can do, I can do better. Demps saw Rainey go the distance. He tried to take it to the house.
You bet. Demps and Rainey, great job again up front by the big fellas, creating the crease in the hole. Look at the Florida receivers trying to get a block. Deontay Thompson trying to get a block.
Tebow making sure everybody's with him. And the 1st quarter comes to an end. So with the Gators driving, our 1st quarter is in the books. Big plays from Tim Tebow as the Gators have returned to the swamp. We're at the end of 1 in Gainesville. Our score, number 1 Florida 14, Charleston Southern nothing. Florida leads at 14-0 as we start the 2nd quarter. Here are the key numbers from the 1st, brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Yeah, just explosion plays for Florida. The big throw to Cooper, the 68-yarder that set up the 1st touchdown from Demps. Demps has rushed 3 times, 55 yards, and of course the monster run by Rainey.
A 1st and 10 for Florida as we begin the 2nd quarter at the Charleston Southern 12-yard line. Tebow. Incomplete in the end zone.
Got the play fake that time. Brandon James, who's working in the slot, runs the out route in the end zone. And boy, a well thrown ball again from Tim Tebow. Get the fake to Demps, hold the linebackers. He steps outside, and this is just a rifle shot that hits right off. They're going to have to go back and get another string for his shoulder pads. Blew it open on this throw. Well thrown ball.
Tebow is 3 for 6. And boy, is that misleading. Straight ahead, but no touchdown. As Jeff Demps takes it down to about the 1-foot line. Matt Bach, the tackle.
Now you get Florida's big group, and this will include Emmanuel Moody, who's a bigger back. He'll come in and be the tailback in their jumbo set. This is something that Florida didn't really do a lot, hasn't really done a lot of. They've really kind of featured Tim Tebow out of the shotgun. They'll now move him under, or they're going to go from the gun here, but it's a bigger package. TJ Pridemore comes in as a fullback, number 45.
And it's Tebow walking in for the score. His 44th rushing touchdown.
Now you talk about you bring your bigger back in than Emmanuel Moody at 6 feet 210. Really, your bigger back is that guy at 6'3", 245 pounds. Tim Tebow goes straight ahead off the right side to stick it in the end zone.
Jonathan Phillips is 3 for 3 tonight. And a 21-0 lead for the Gators. Another look at Tebow's first rushing touchdown of the new year.
Well, you think about Charleston Southern, you got to shrug off Marquise and Mike Pouncey at 320 apiece, and James Wilson at 330. And once you get those guys off you, then you can tackle 245-pound Tim Tebow coming straight ahead.
Our Chick-fil-A nugget of the game. Tebow's 35 rushing touchdowns the past 2 seasons, more than or equal to 50 bowl championship subdivision teams. Just remarkable numbers. And when it strikes you, you hear the conversation, Dave, well, this kid's got a chance to be the greatest of all time. Well, that covers a lot of folks and a lot of years. But by any statistical determination, this guy is off the charts.
It's unbelievable. I'm speechless on what these kids have been able to. You see, he's closing in on a number that no one thought he would ever touch, or anybody would touch. The Herschel Walker legendary number of 49 touchdowns. But Tim Tebow is going to break that record this year. He has a chance to become the all-time leading passer in this conference. I think he's in the conversation already, but I think if he has the year they're expecting, he will be considered the best college football player of all time.
Stevenson. And Gerald couldn't make it back to the 20. The party of the second part tonight, of course, is Charleston Southern. And Jen Heldreth has more on the matchup.
Well, you know, it's no secret that Charleston Southern is getting money for playing in this game. They get $450,000, and that's part of a plan to work on an athletic facility that will benefit all of the athletic programs at Charleston Southern. It will allow the teams to have their own locker room. Several teams share locker rooms right now. They're working on a $3 million facility that they're trying to break ground on in the next few months. And I talked to athletic director Hank Small. He said we're trying to get about 2 of these guaranteed games a year. You know, they played Miami last year. They played Hawaii. They've got USF coming up this year. So all in the bigger plan of how they can help the overall program.
Toscano, and a great catch on the sideline by Antoine Ivy. Close to a first down.
And Bob, some of the naysayers would say, well, you know, Charleston Southern against Florida, they're sacrificial lambs because they're getting the money. Not by a long stretch. To a man, we talked to a number of these players from Charleston Southern. They would have voted to a man to play in this game against the Gators. This is an opportunity of a lifetime for them to play against the best. They want to measure themselves against the best.
And those games that Jen mentioned, Hawaii and South Florida, Miami last year, all because the Gators signed on the dotted line as the first team to play Charleston Southern. This play foiled as all the blue shirts went around Ivy, led by Brandon Spikes.
Boy, got real good initial penetration that took Toscano off of the ability to run with the football. They're going to get great penetration here. Let it run, boys. Right there, Jay Howard shoots through and gets around Toscano's leg, so all he has to do is pitch it. He wasn't able to threaten the edge to try to get Spikes to commit to him on the option pitch, which took away any type of play to the outside.
And this one thrown at the feet of DeMarcus Moon. So again, Charleston Southern unable to convert on a 3rd and long. And they'll have to punt the football away to the Gators.
Something Florida did extremely well last year. When you start talking about 11 starters returning on defense for the Gators, as they held their opponents to just 33% on 3rd down. That time a good first down play from Charleston Southern, but they were not able to pick up that final yard to move the chains.
Brandon James muffed that punt last time. He's looking to make amends as he drops back. And are the Gators coming? James, this ball is going to sail, and he's going to catch it and try it. No, it stepped out of bounds at the 31-yard line. A break in the action here in Gainesville, 13-17, second quarter. A 3-touchdown lead for the home team. Bob Rathman, Dave Archer, Jen Hildreth in the swamp in Gainesville. Spectacular sight. One of the greatest venues in the game, but it's especially breathtaking at night. 21-0 Gators. Tebow pressured and brought down at the 31-yard line. He got back to the line of scrimmage, and Chris Paris will have a chance to talk about this for a long time.
Chris Paris brought him down on the play, but he got pressure from the outside from Chris Patrick to the left side of Tebow. Number 50, Chris Patrick, coming on the blitz, forces he back to the inside, and Paris, his teammate, is there waiting on the 2007 Heisman Trophy winner.
Chris Paris, the senior from Toronto. Backup defensive end. Tebow on 2nd and 10. And a whistle blows this one dead. As Rainey and the Gators will come back. That time Matt Patchen, the left tackle, jumped.
Boy, he came out like he was shot out of a cannon. Left tackle Matt Patchen played defensive line last year.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 71 of the offense, 5-yard penalty from the previous spot, 2nd down.
Get those thumbs greased up, ready to go. Text it in. Who do you think is the best quarterback in SEC history? There are your choices. Text your answer to South. And Frank Hedman will update everything for you at halftime.
Very interesting that 3 of those were Gators.
Tim's going to throw it. Brandon James is going to run it. Brandon James down the sideline, pushed out near midfield. Goosdale caught up with him and ran him out of bounds.
Boy, this play took a long time to develop, and Riley Cooper does an unbelievable job of staying on his block to the outside. Brandon James, this is not a good throw from Tebow. He throws it behind him, so Brandon James has to adjust the football. Watch Riley Cooper fight with his helmet off to get the block so Brandon James can split it on the screen. Boy, great effort outside by the Gator receiver.
Tebow fires, and it is complete. Hernandez. First down, Gators at the 24. Aaron Hernandez, who should have, Dave, just an outstanding season.
I expect this guy to be a matchup problem no matter who they play, whether it's LSU, Georgia, I don't care who it is. He had 34 receptions last year. He's bigger and faster this year.
Demps. Goodbye. Jeff Demps with his 2nd touchdown, a 24-yard run after the 25-yard completion to Hernandez. (27-0) with the kick to come. Demps now 89 yards on 5 carries. Rainey has 76 yards, and that was on 1 carry.
Well, it's just a tremendous luxury that this offensive line has. It's a really good offensive line, but to be able to stay on your blocks, maybe a count less than most, because of the speed. You see again the Pounceys, Mike and Marquise, blowing the hole open on the right side. Marcus Gilbert, the right tackle, helping to blow the hole open. And then all Demps needs, or Rainey, this time Demps, is just a crack.
The Florida Gators last year averaged just under 44 points per game. That scoring output harkening back to those great Spurrier teams here in the swamp, and Tebow and company now started to get it rolling after they struggled a bit by their lofty standards in the first.
Well, and really you got another touchdown that was dropped. Yes. Tebow threw a touchdown that should have been caught by Deontay Thompson. So Tebow has been extremely sharp. He only is 4 of 7 for 114 yards. The big throw to Cooper at 68 yards. But he has been extremely sharp. 2 balls that have been dropped that should have been touchdowns.
Probably the most disappointing part so far, the 4 penalties on the game.
Again, the clean and fast, like you're talking about, Bob, of what Urban Meyer was looking for. But I think he's very pleased with the way his offensive line is playing.
Gerald Stevenson from the 2. And a nice return to the 27. Well, we talk about Tebow's passing, but the ground game has been dazzling as Florida has rotated not only Demps and Rainey, but also Emmanuel Moody has gotten into the mix. Rainey with that incredible burst of 76 to score. Demps has added 2.
He got 6 for what, 165? Well, my math's not that good, but that's pretty good right there.
A.J. Toscano, the quarterback for Charleston Southern, gets the play that he wants and throws it to the sideline. It's going to be complete near the first down marker, as making the grab that time for Charleston Southern. It was Tim Jones making the play.
Yeah, excellent job by Tim Jones, a bigger receiver, 6'3", about 220 pounds, working against Joe Hayden. We talked about Joe's prowess one-on-one coverage, and he's really sitting down on the routes. He knows he has safety help over the top, so he's just squatting down on the routes, and really a nice catch by Tim Jones.
Not much for DeMarcus Moon. Maybe a yard. Did he get the first? That's the question.
I think he got the proverbial shove by the offensive linemen that weren't blocking on the play to shove him over the first down line to move the chains.
And Charleston Southern has its 6th first down tonight. You look at the numbers of the junior from McDonough, Georgia, DeMarcus Moon.
They've got a 2-headed monster at running back. When they get back into conference play, 2 guys that are going to be very dangerous for them, DeMarcus Moon and Antoine Ivy.
Charleston Southern plays in the Big South. Toscano airs it out down the sideline, and it's going to be picked off at the 25-yard line.
Well, Bob, I mentioned the reason Joe Hayden was sitting down on routes, and they said, okay, we're going to go over the top. But you got to remember that Major Wright is back there helping out his corner. And if you're going to hang the ball in the air, Hayden's one-on-one man coverage and bid on the go or the pump fake. But the range of these safeties, Major Wright able to come off the hash and get over and make the play. They led the nation in interceptions last year, and they're off to a good start again this year.
Major had 4 interceptions a year ago, his first of the new campaign. And you look at the incredible job that Major Wright, he delivered some of the most ferocious hits that came out of the Florida secondary.
He is the thumper back there, but an outstanding job of range and making that play, reading the quarterback.
So the Gators get it back, and Tebow goes up, and Riley Cooper is able to make the catch at the 31-yard line. The calling card of this Florida defense is the turnovers they generate. And since Urban Meyer came to the Swamp, the Gators have forced 116.
Well, you can go back and you could put since 2005, and there's a litany of things they've done real well since Urban got here.
Tebow floats it to Cooper again.
And this is what they want from Riley Cooper. He's been a home run hitter in the past, and we saw the 68-yard completion early in the game. He's got big speed. What they're going to need is some possession catches out of the big fella on the outside. 2 good catches to start this drive.
Cooper's caught 4 balls so far for 95 yards. Three in a row.
And all they're getting over there is they're getting a soft corner. They have a 3 deep coverage, meaning they have a corner on either side of the field covering a third of the field and a safety in the middle covering the middle third. And so there's a soft area out there. All Riley Cooper is running about a 6-8 yard hitch route or a curl route and catching the football. He's a little winded. He's going to come off.
Hope he's feeling better. Tebow. And Nelson in a wrestling match at midfield. And the play blown dead. For more on the Riley Cooper story, we send it to Jen Hildreth.
Well, it's pretty impressive to consider that Riley Cooper spent all of spring and all of summer playing baseball. Of course, he's a 2-sport star here at Florida, signed a professional baseball contract with the Texas Rangers in August. And when he announced that he was coming back, he called every single one of the receivers individually so that they would hear of his decision first, and also to let them know that he didn't think he was going to be given anything. He knew he had to come in and earn it.
Well, Jen, I'm sure he's in good shape. You talked about him playing baseball all summer long, so football shape is a little different. It looked like he's a little winded and trying to get his breath back, but he's been huge tonight.
8:36 remaining in the second quarter. 28-0 Gators. We'll be right back.
Fred Hickman in Atlanta with a studio update for you. Louisiana Tech taking on Auburn at Jordan-Hare. Ross Jenkins, 18-yard touchdown. Louisiana Tech up 7-3, but later in the quarter, Cody Burns runs in from the 1 on a sneak, 10-7, and that's where they stand. 4 minutes to go in the second quarter. I'll be back at the half with more, but right now, get you back to Bob and Dave in Gainesville.
Fred, thank you very much. The Gators looking to extend its SEC best opening day winning streak to 20. The Gators have shut out their opponents 24 times on opening day, but just 7 times in the post-World War II era, and none since '88. This pass incomplete at the 40, intended for Deontay Thompson. And an injured Gator. 57 is Carl Johnson, the left guard.
Well, we talked about how Carl Johnson is the swing guy for this Gator offensive line. He plays both left guard and left tackle. He opened the game at left tackle. Now he'll be playing at left guard in this particular situation because Matt Patchen is coming at left tackle. Let's see if he gets rolled up. Looking for number right there, number 57. Gets rolled up, and that so often happens to the offensive line trying to protect the quarterback. Some other player falls on you from behind, and that's what's happened here with Carl Johnson. He was so valuable to this team last year. He started 8 games, but he started both at left guard and at left tackle last year. He started the last 2 games at left guard, and we know what happened in the last 2 games, an SEC title and a national championship.
Steve Adazio, who coaches the line, and now the added responsibility of offensive coordinator, looking on with that look of concern.
And it's something we really haven't talked about yet. It's Steve Addazio. Steve is their offensive line coach, takes on the offensive coordinator duties because Dan Mullen has moved on to Mississippi State as the head coach. We'll see Dan next week with the Bulldogs taking on the Tigers at Auburn. But it's a different situation now for Addazio. He now has to be involved in play calling. He's calling all the plays. So now his ability to just camp out with the offensive line, he can't do that. He's got to look down the road and look at the plays they want to call 2 and 3 plays ahead of time.
And whereas Dan was in the press box, Addazio does his work on the field. Complete. And down goes Hernandez. They'll mark this at the 28-yard line.
Well, this is the difficulty of Aaron Hernandez. There he is in the slot, going to release up. He's going to take on the safety, Matt Bach. No matchup. Cannot cover him with a safety. He's too big. And then his speed to run away from Bach. That's why he's going to have a monster year this year for the Gators.
First and 10 from the Charleston Southern 28. Tebow buys some time, throws, and incomplete. At the 10-yard line, Hernandez trying to come back to get it.
Tebow's ability to extend plays, and that was one of them right there. Now, sometimes he gets himself in kind of a screwy throwing position and he doesn't get enough on the ball, but his ability to extend plays, we saw it all last year, plays that he extended and was able to get the ball to Murphy and Harvin, the 2 guys that have moved on to the NFL. It's something he's going to do this year with the new players that are on the field for the Gators. It's his ability to extend a play and create a problem for the defense.
Over the middle, complete. Hernandez stretches to the goal line. Touchdown. Wow.
Wow is right. 6'2", 250-pound Aaron Hernandez, the tight end on this football team. He's being matched up with a safety. This time Mike Springer is going to get the duty. He's going to come in from the left side. Good protection up front. Tebow drills it low. Hernandez squeezes it, and then it's just effort get in the end zone as he runs through 2 tackles. But Aaron Hernandez is a matchup nightmare for anybody they play this year.
And we haven't even mentioned his fantastic blocking ability.
You don't run the football as well as they have without blocking on the edge. Aaron Hernandez is a big part of that. But boy, what a monster weapon he will be this year in the red zone for Tim Tebow.
Charles James is the injured Buccaneer. Check the right side of your screen as Hernandez is going toward the goal line and lunging, making that second effort. Right,
and he was
there on the right side of your screen was the James collision.
Looked like Deontay Thompson was trying to block downfield and got a big hit there on Charles James.
As you look down the road with Hernandez in Florida, you think about a weapon like Hernandez in the red zone. That'll keep some defensive coordinators up nights.
Well, it will, and it's going to be something they're going to need, because remember, some of the red zone punch that you counted on last year is gone, so Hernandez will have to step up. 5 TDs last year. He'll have twice that this year.
Jonathan Phillips. The man from Bristol, Connecticut, Aaron Hernandez, as the Gators add to the lead, 35-0. 35-0 Gators. 7:55 here in the second quarter. Tim Tebow's first touchdown pass of the season extends a remarkable streak. Now 29 consecutive games with a passing touchdown, the longest in the NCAA. The second place holder, Todd Reesing at Kansas, is at 18.
Well, you and I were discussing some of the numbers on Tim Tebow before kickoff today, and another one that's staggering, and you and I both wrote it down on our boards. 15 attempts today. He's now 4 shy of 700 attempts, 11 interceptions. That's unbelievable.
It's going to shatter the all-time SEC record. Gerald Stevenson doing yeoman's work on these kick returns. Takes it out to the 31 as we go down to the field in Jen.
Well, Bob, time to give some thanks to one of the great corporate sponsors and partners with the SEC. That, of course, is Chick-fil-A. You know, it's hard to come to an SEC contest without seeing those Chick-fil-A cows somewhere. You might have a Chick-fil-A sandwich to eat before you come to the game, and their partnership has certainly been one that has been very beneficial, both to the Southeastern Conference and back to Chick-fil-A. A lot of fun at tailgates there, and I've got David Farmer from Chick-fil-A joining me now. So I guess my first question is, David, what appeals to you so much about this partnership with the SEC?
Well, the SEC is known for football, and we love football at Chick-fil-A. So it's been about 14 years for us. This is a huge weekend. We love to kick it off. It culminates for us with the Chick-fil-A Bowl at the end of the year. Favorite time of year.
Well, tell us about this special promotion you've got going on for Labor Day. You can come in and get a free sandwich, right?
That's right. We're going to celebrate Monday. Come into any Chick-fil-A, wear any team logo, whatever your team is, anytime between 10:30 and 8, get a Chick-fil-A sandwich absolutely free.
Well, you got to like how that sounds. Thank you so much for all of your help and your partnership. We appreciate it.
Our pleasure, Jen. Thank you.
All right, guys, go out there and get that chicken on Monday.
Jen went to Chick-fil-A earlier today.
I don't think Dave can wait till Monday. How about halftime? Here's Stevenson. Made a nice grab, made a defender miss on the previous play.
Got an
now the gain here near the first down marker.
Got an outstanding block on the play you're talking about. The first play of that drive, as Jen was doing her interview there, from Alex Neal again in the slot. Here they come back with the same play the other way. Again, getting back to what they were having success with in the first quarter early, getting the ball to Stevenson on the edge and these little screens to him coming out of the backfield.
Second down and 3 into Gator territory at the 48.
Got a formation problem, Bob.
We'll take a timeout to correct it. That's the third timeout burned by Jay Mills and the Buccaneers. We'll be right back. Back in Gainesville. And they throw back to the quarterback, Toscano. And he's out of bounds at the 22-yard line. Tim Jones got the handoff and then returned it right back to A.J. Nicely done.
He did a great job of selling it, too, because it looks like it's Tim Jones's play all the way. And then Toscano, watch Toscano delay just a count right there and then slip by, and a well-thrown ball, as you said, from Tim Jones. And then Toscano, good running quarterback, gets up the field.
First down for Charleston Southern, their 8th of the first half. Tim Jones, a senior from Townville, South Carolina, grew up in the shadows of Clemson, went to Pendleton High School. And now a penalty flag.
Snap. Delay a game on the offense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
Well, Charleston Southern's gone to a little bit of a different package of players on the field. They've gone to a 2 tight end set, 2 receivers, trying to help Toscano a little bit with the pass rush and make it look a little bit more like a run-oriented type of offense.
Toscano down the sideline and incomplete. Intended for Tim Jones.
Well, I like the play call, though. They show the sweep with Stevenson coming back in motion. Good play fake right here. And then Toscano steps back. He's got Tim Jones on the outside, working one-on-one with Marky Anderson. And the ball just overthrown. Had a shot, though, one-on-one. And that's the guy you want outside if you want to go one-on-one. Tim Jones, 6'3", 220 pounds. He's going to be able to go up and get it for you.
This will set up third down.
Well, an excellent job that time. Jonathan Bostic, the freshman. He rolled in January. He's in it. He was in it at middle linebacker that time for Spikes. And once again, a great read from the linebacker spot to get out under this throw. Made it very tough for Toscano to throw the post route.
Bostic from Wellington had a fantastic spring. And as you mentioned, he impressed the coaches early in the weight room, then in spring practice, and has earned playing time.
Yeah, he comes from good stock. His dad played, and there's Charlie Strong, the defensive coordinator for Florida, as he's got his young freshman in there calling the shots at middle linebacker. His dad played for the Lions, Jonathan Sr. So probably saw a few games and spent a little time in a locker room when he was a little guy.
When was he ever a little guy? Some clock problems here. Stadium clock and the one that you see showing 5:55.
Yeah, that's about all that's gone wrong here in the swamp for the Gators tonight is the clock.
6 minutes and 3 seconds. 6:03.
So the game clock reset to 6:03, and a chance to remind you about our Toyota halftime report. Fred Hickman anchoring our coverage with highlights and scores of SEC football from today and tonight. And he'll update our text poll as to who you believe is the best SEC quarterback of all time.
Yeah, Fred's locked and loaded with all the scores. SEC, it's been a good day for the SEC other than the Georgia trip to Stillwater.
Boy, Tennessee put up a big number today in Lane Kiffin's debut as the Volunteers head coach. Complete. Ivy. And out of bounds at the 20. It will set up 4th and 10.
An excellent job at Toscano to get the ball out of his hands to keep him in a good situation here to try the field goal. Got the ball to Ivy in the flat, and then Ivy put a great move on Jelani Jenkins, the linebacker, the freshman linebacker, to get just a little bit more yardage and make this maybe a little bit better shot.
John Paglia is the kicker out of the Chris Coosdale hold. This will be a 38-yard attempt. And on its way, it is good. So Charleston Southern gets on the board in the swamp as John Paglia delivers. The old Big South kicker from a year ago when he had 10 field goals puts this one between the uprights.
And you talk about moments for players, and you hope Paglia, you know, he gets the kick and maybe go to the next level and kick, but he'll always remember the night he came in and he got a chance in front of a huge crowd in the swamp to bang one through.
In the preseason, the Bucks were picked in the lower half of the standings, but I've got to believe, Dave Archer, as you take a look at the preseason poll, what they have gained in the preseason, because their focus has been so sharp to get ready for this game, and the experience that they will gain tonight will serve them so well when they get into Big South competition.
No question about it. I think that their experience here is going to make them leaps and bounds better than they might have been had they not gotten this opportunity to play. Liberty, the odds-on class of that league, ran into, I believe, the Mountaineers today. I guess West Virginia, I think, took down Liberty 33-20 today. So pretty good effort from Liberty in their conference, representing going outside the conference. But I think Charleston Southern is going to gain leaps and bounds from confidence from playing here against the Gators tonight.
Brandon James hasn't broken a kick return for a touchdown. He's got a shot at it here. Touchdown, Florida. No flags, 86 yards. A career best in kickoff returns for 86. Previous best was 61. And he's already accomplished one of his season goals.
He wanted to take a kickoff back. Boy, he was adamant about that, too. He talked about his punt return prowess, but like you said, he'd never returned one. 83 opportunities to take one back prior to tonight. And tonight's the golden night as Brandon James breaks that and gets off the schneid, takes a kickoff all the way back. And of course, anytime you get something like this, you've got to have outstanding blocking, and that's what he gets. And really goes through untouched on just a monster hole to the right side. And Brandon James, very much like Rainey, or very much like Demps, if he gets in the open field and you're looking at the back end of it, that's all you're ever going to see because he's gone.
42-3 now, Florida. 5:24 left before halftime.
So the ray of sunshine from the Paglia field goal lasted about a minute and a half. Yeah, real time, but I guess when Brandon James caught it, it was more like about 8 seconds.
That's the first time the Gators have taken a kickoff back for a touchdown since 1999.
Wow. So he not only got himself off the schneid, he got the Gator Nation off the schneid on kickoff returns. And that's amazing. That's an amazing stat, really. Go back 10 years. There's many athletes that have come through here and been on special teams that they had not returned a kickoff since '99 for a touchdown.
Good Gerald Stevenson, who I think will lead the country in kick return yardage after tonight. Cranks it up again from the 8. Jammed up and taken down at the 18-yard line. Time now for our Geico quote of the week. And for it, we go to the head man, Urban Meyer. 7 wins come from talent. You start mixing in a little discipline, you're up to 8 or 9. Somehow, if you can develop a little leadership on your team, that's when you start having great things happen for your program. And that is the stage to which Coach Meyer and the Gators have achieved.
Trying to become only the second team, or third team, I'm sorry, to defend as the national champion.
Changing quarterback for Charleston Southern. Backup Andrew Trudowski comes into the game and throws on first down, complete to Stevenson. Out of bounds at the 26. I beg your pardon, A.J. Toscano is still in at quarterback.
That's a well-thrown ball by Toscano to get the ball to the outside. That time Neal caught the football, and he's a guy that's been blocking a significant amount of time tonight, and he did a good job of getting open on the edge.
Toscano tonight, Dave, is now 12 of 21 with 1 pick for 98 yards. Ivy back at the line of scrimmage. From Newberry, Florida. He grew up here in the swamp, a big Florida fan as a kid. But what a year, or what a career, I should say, that Ivy had in high school at Newberry for the Panthers. Rushed his senior year for over 2,400 yards. He was the Florida 2B Player of the Year and could have played here at Florida. He was an invited walk-on to this program, but said, you know, with the way that roster looks, I'm not going to get much playing time. So why not head out to Charleston, South Carolina, and be a Buck?
Boy, just third and about a football length. You had to kind of question what they're trying to do there offensively. Looking to extend the drive where you try to run horizontally down the line of scrimmage. That might have been the place for a quarterback sneak just to get the first down. They try to run the option, the lead option, and Florida gets too much penetration as they get down the line. Toscano made to keep the football and gets dropped for about a half-a-yard loss, and now they're going to be forced to punt. There's Dan McCarney. That's the defensive line coach for the Gators. And you talk about a fiery guy now. He is phenomenal. Former Iowa State head coach, now the assistant head coach and D-line coach here for Florida.
James will let this one roll, and it's out of bounds at the 24.
Tonight's game is in high definition, presented by Philips HD.
Bob Rathbun, Dave Archer, Jen Hildreth back in Gainesville. 42-3 Florida. 3 minutes and 6 seconds away from Fred Hickman in our Atlanta studio. Florida makes a change at quarterback, and this is John Brantley coming on to take charge of this offense.
Well, John Brantley, as he enters the game, and this is a guy they're extremely excited about. He broke all of Tim Tebow's touchdown passing records in high school. He threw 99. Tebow threw 98 in high school. But this is a kid that's a stand-up passer, and he's got a big-time arm. He's a good athlete. He can move around with it. And you see already a different voice inflection, maybe a false start right there. But Brantley has all the goods to be a big-time player.
Prior to the snap, false start. Number 78, 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
And John Brantley's biggest booster is Tim Tebow.
No question about it. Tim knows that this is his last season, and he's going to hand this program over. And really, Tim feels it that way. This is his program. It's all of their program, but he feels very much entitled that he needs to hand this over, and he certainly should. And he's been a great mentor to young John Brantley.
Complete to the 22-yard line. Emmanuel Moody with the grab, the redshirt junior from Texas. As Brantley hits on his first throw. Brantley's career day came against the Citadel last year when he got in for relief of Tebow. Threw 11 passes, completed 8 for 110 yards. Brantley will keep it and pick up a couple of yards. Tebow's night, and our guess is that he's done for the evening. 10 of 15, but you talked about a couple of drops that were significant. 188 yards. His streak, if he doesn't get back in, of having 2 touchdown passes or more in a game will come to an end.
Yeah, and I would think that unless something were to happen to Brantley, and we will not see Tebow the rest of the evening.
Brantley, incomplete. Intended for Justin Williams.
Well, you talk about Tim Tebow and what he brings to the table. Most of it is his intensity, and he can throw it. He does a good job here to get the ball to Riley Cooper, who's wide open. The big play, 68 yards. How about the accurate throw down low to Aaron Hernandez? There was his touchdown throw on the night. But his leadership and just how he picks everybody up around him cannot be measured.
Have you seen a player, a quarterback, have such a significant effect in terms of motivation and leadership on the defense of a team?
Not on guys that he doesn't actually line up on the field with. No, he is a tremendous motivator. We've heard about all the stories about, you know, they've got the speech here and everything he said after the Ole Miss loss and everything that went on. But Tim Tebow is the real deal. And everybody, and I get tired of hearing about, well, we're hearing too much about Tim Tebow. I don't think you can hear enough about him. He's a class act. He conducts himself off the field tremendously. He's a role model to all the kids. And I don't think you can say enough about the kid. I think there needs to be more of him, and the more he can rub off on players, the better this place will be.
And that was one of his motivations, Dave, for coming back. The tremendous platform that he had. (42-3) is our score as the pass comes to DeMarcus Moon. You talk about so much off the field. There's a young fellow that got a wheelchair escort before the ball game. Tebow warming up, getting ready, and gives the ball here to this young fan, and then Tebow put him right into the drills. He was pushing him.
Yeah, he was
right
all over the field,
yeah.
all over the field with him. And this is not any kind of stunt or anything he's doing. This is who he is. You hear about his missionary work and things that he does in the Philippines with his parents and stuff. That's who the kid is, and I think it's unbelievable. And you'd like to think that more would emulate him. Some people think that, oh, we're spending too much time on Tim Tebow. Well, he deserves it. I mean, the guy's a phenomenal human being.
Boomer Hornbeck from Atlanta was the young man in that wheelchair with a night he'll never forget. Kwame Kreku near midfield.
Excellent job.
The first down.
Excellent job there, Bob. A.J. Toscano stepping up in the pocket. He had pressure around the edge. He slid up in the pocket and was able to find Kreku, who had found a little opening. And Kreku, once he caught it, realized he did not have the first down yet. Did a great job of getting up the field to extend the drive.
First and 10. Down the sideline, it is complete. And out of bounds inside the 25 at the 23-yard line. Kreku, the redshirt junior from Orangeburg, makes the grab.
Well, this is what happens when you're throwing those quick screens to the edge. They show the quick out right there. Florida kind of falls asleep a little bit. Wandy Pierre-Louis is one-on-one with Kreku, and an outstanding throw from A.J. Toscano on the fade route to Kreku down the sidelines. And now with 41 seconds left, an opportunity maybe to get one in the end zone, a real possibility for the Buccaneers.
A 27-yard pass play. Toscano now is thrown for 138 yards. DeMarcus Moon and a penalty flag.
Yeah, it looked like Moses Jenkins, the corner who came on the blitz from the outside, might have been offside. Trying to time it up, trying to time the snap count. It looked like he may have jumped the gun.
Offside. Number 36 on the defense. 5 yard from the previous spot. First down.
Moses Jenkins, a junior cornerback, mostly a special teams player in his career here at Florida, getting an opportunity to play some corner.
They wind the clock at 33 seconds before halftime. Stevenson wide to the top of your screen.
AJ's wasting way too much time at the line of scrimmage here.
The quick throw gets the ball to the 12, caught by Kreku, down to 13 seconds. Charleston Southern does not have a timeout.
Well, Toscano needs to spike this ball. They're not going to get any more snaps off. Wasting way too much time at the line of scrimmage. Had 11 seconds left. This is going to be the last play of the half right here.
Looking to go to the end zone, and it is going to be incomplete.
Yeah, poorly managed that time by the staff, and Toscano there at the end had a real opportunity to get it in the end zone. Should have spiked it there for a couple plays, but Florida way too much here in the first half.
So we've come to the end of the first half, and the top-ranked Gators put 42 points on the board before the break and lead it 42-3 here at halftime. Tim Tebow with a touchdown pass. Magnificent runs for the running backs as we go to Jen.
Well, Coach, what questions did you need to have answered coming into this game, and have you gotten the answers you were looking for so far?
Yeah, I think, you know, the guys are playing well, and, you know, I was glad to see Brandon James get a kickoff return for a touchdown, and, you know, we still, I think we're a little sloppy getting the plays in, and you know, we had a delay of game penalty, but I'm pleased so far.
We're going to see Brantley running the show the rest of the way?
Yeah, Tim's done. Johnny's in there, and Johnny's deserved that right, and regardless, he's going to play some of this game.
Great. Thanks, Coach.
Urban Meyer, the head coach of the Gators. As we've reached halftime, our score with Tim Tebow and company. Hanging a big number on the board. At the break, it's the Gators 42 and Charleston Southern 3. More coverage. We send it to Fred Hickman in our Atlanta studio after this.
Welcome, everybody, to the Toyota Halftime Report. I'm Fred Hickman back here in our Atlanta studios. Of course, down in Gainesville, it's 42-3 as the defending BCF champions from Florida are putting the wood to Charleston Southern. We'll get you back to the game after we catch you up on all the other SEC action this Saturday, including the Georgia Bulldogs opening up on the road at Oklahoma State. Fans making their way out to Stillwater, first quarter of a scoreless game. And it's Joe Cox hitting Michael Moore in the corner for the 4-yard touchdown, and Georgia taking a 7-0 lead. From there to the second quarter, Zach Robinson looks for and then finds Des Bryant. 46 yards on the touchdown strike, and we are all even at 7 apiece. Fast forward to the third quarter. In fact, the opening kickoff of the third, and watch Parrish Cox perish indeed. He takes it 74 yards, weaving through the Bulldogs special teams and setting up a Robinson 1-yard touchdown run at the other end. So Oklahoma State playing well for their fans in Stillwater. Fourth quarter now, it's 17-10. Oklahoma State, and Robinson finds the All-American Bryant again. This is second touchdown of the day, so Oklahoma State goes on to win it 24-10. It's the first Georgia season opening loss since 1996. In Atlanta, Virginia Tech and Alabama going at it. First quarter at the Dome, Greg McElroy hitting Darius Hanks. A great catch that sets up a field goal. Alabama was up 6-0. Ensuing kickoff. Dyrell Roberts gets the distance. 98 yards he goes up the left sideline, and that makes it Virginia Tech 7-6. And that's in the first quarter. You know, Bob and Dave, of course, have been thumbing it in and helping you thumb it in all throughout the first half, the poll that we are going to be doing throughout the season. And the first question is, who is the best all-time quarterback in SEC history? And by a landslide so far, it is Tim Tebow of the Florida Gators. But you can continue to vote, and we'll have the final results for you in the fourth quarter. So text 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 to South 76884. Remember, of course, standard text messaging rates do apply. So Florida leading this one big, 42-3. Chris Rainey helping out, a 76-yard touchdown run to make it 14-0. Coming up, highlights of Western Kentucky at Tennessee. How did Lane Kiffin's debut in Knoxville go? We'll find out after the break. Back at the Toyota halftime report, and the Gator Band playing a happy tune as they're leading Charleston Southern by a score of 42-3 at halftime. Some other action from around the SEC today. Lane Kiffin making his debut as the Vols head coach at home for Western Kentucky. Early in the second quarter of the scoreless game, Jonathan Crompton handing off to Bryce Brown. And Brown, 2 yards on the play for the touchdown. He rushed for 104 yards on the day on 11 carries. That made it 7-0. Midway through the third, and it's already 28-0, and Crompton handing to Montario Hardesty. 43 yards for the touchdown. He had 160 yards on 18 carries as the Vols win big time, 63-7. Kentucky taking on Miami of Ohio. Second quarter is Mike Hartline negotiates a 27-yard touchdown pass to Randall, not Tex, Cobb. And it's 7-0 in favor of the Wildcats. Speaking of which, it's 21-0 in the third when Cobb will go 11 yards in the Wildcat formation to make it 28-0. He had 96 yards on the day. Still 28-0 in the third. And Trayvard Lindley with the pick. And the pick six. 25 yards for the touchdown to make it 34-0. Your final score, 42-0 in favor of Kentucky. You know, it's just as much fun outside of Florida Field as it is inside. We found that out earlier today.
Cassidy Hubbard here, and I'm in Gainesville, Florida with all the Gator fans, and I want to tell you guys that they really know how to get ready for a big game. So also want to remind you, SEC Gridiron Live every Wednesday. Me, David Pollock, Randy Cross, and Charles Davis. You can find me online on Twitter and on Facebook. I'll be online all week to get ready for next week's game. Yeah. They're ready for this game. FSN every Wednesday. Fred, back to you.
Well, Cassidy gets to have all the fun all the time. Thank you very much. We'll look forward to Wednesday. But right now, 42-3, as the Gators are leading Charleston Southern, the Buccaneers, playing down in Florida. But we got more action to tell you about after the break. We'll get you updated on all the other scores. But in this game, Tim Tebow with a 1-yard touchdown run. That made it 21-0. We're going to see also his touchdown strike of the game. Tebow out of the ball game now, as Florida seems to have things very, very well in hand. Once again, 42-3 is the score. Other scores and highlights right after this. We're back with the Toyota halftime report. Other action today. Auburn taking on Louisiana Tech. We pick it up in the first quarter. Ross Jenkins, an 18-yard dart to Dennis Morris. La Tech up 7-3. Later in the quarter, Cody Burns from 1 yard away, sneaking it in to put Auburn up 10-7. That game has now gone to the third quarter. It's now 13-10. And Vandy and Western Carolina, Bobby Johnson there, Vandy in the home opener. And midway in the first quarter of a scoreless game, Larry Smith finds Justin Green just in time. 46-yard pass for the touchdown. Vandy up 7-0. Second quarter, Commodores up 14. And on the first play, Zach Stacy, 9 yards for the touchdown. Vandy had 139 yards rushing in the first quarter alone. And it's halftime there now, 21-0. Vandy is leading. Some other scores for you: 45-7 Mississippi State over Jackson State. Arkansas leading Missouri State. And coming up a little bit later, LSU and Washington tomorrow, Ole Miss and Memphis. Thumbing it in, the poll results, getting you updated here. Tim Tebow running away and hiding. Best quarterback in the second half. Will keep you updated and keep voting in the second half. But now it's time to take a short break here and get you back to Bob Rathman and Dave Archer. 42-3 Florida over Charleston Southern.
Welcome back to the Swamp in Gainesville. Started the third quarter with Florida leading Charleston Southern 42-3. Bob Rathman, Dave Archer, Jen Hildreth will be along momentarily. And as expected, the Gators put a big number offensively on the board.
And you thought you were going to get explosion plays, and you did. You got the long, rainy run. You got the return from Brandon James, but you also got some nice, steady drives that Tebow was able to put together, completed 66% of his passes, moved the team down the field, really had a couple of touchdowns dropped, but they really operated extremely well. I thought the offensive line was outstanding for Florida, really blew open some holes and really took care of business when it came to Tebow throwing the ball. And what you don't see on there, Bob, is the fact that the defense was outstanding on third down. Just 3 of 10 third down conversions for Charleston Southern, and they limited what Charleston Southern did on the ground.
John Bagley with the kick for Charleston Southern, and it's T.J. Lawrence with the return. Over midfield to the 48 as we go down to the field. And Jen.
Well, I talked to Coach Jay Mills from Charleston Southern coming out of the locker room, and I said, what positives do you take out of this first half? And he said, you know, there's a lot of different ways to judge success. Obviously, there's wins and losses, but there are other ways. He said, I like the heart and the determination I see in my guys. When you get challenged, you need to get back up, and I like the look in all their eyes. So still sounding very positive at the break, guys.
Well, I think it's a great message for his kids. I think the kids have competed extremely well. They've put up over 200 yards of offense against Florida.
Here's Emmanuel Moody. Finds a hole to the 26-yard line. Moody in the first half had just 1 carry. He starts here in the third quarter, and a big gain.
Well, Moody's the forgotten guy in this thing, and they were very, very quick to point out that Moody's not the third-team tailback on this team. He's just the third guy that we talk about, because he is a little bit more of a banger. Not quite the speed. He does still have speed, but not the breakaway speed that we see from Dempson Rainey. But he's a guy that can blow you up on about 25 carries, and he will bludgeon you to death.
John Brantley at quarterback for the Gators. Tebow's night is done. And here is Emmanuel Moody on the carry to the 20. Matt Bach the tackle. John Brantley taking over at the end of that second quarter from Tim Tebow. Getting some valuable playing time. And out of bounds he goes. And that's a Gator first down inside the 10.
And I think that's the part of the game that they're not sure about with John Brantley. I mean, they know he's a tremendous athlete. They know he can run a little bit, but he's a different player. He's not Tim Tebow at 245 pounds coming at you. He's at 215, 220, a little bit slighter built. more of a stand-up passer, but he can athletically make some plays for you on the edge to keep the running game part of the quarterback position still in play.
To the end zone and incomplete. Marius Hines, the intended receiver.
And we're going to start hearing some of the names of Florida. I talked about it at the opening. Florida now tonight was about reloading. They never are down here. They just reload. We know about Harvin and we know about Murphy moving on, but now it's about young guys waiting for their opportunity, and now they step in the light. And Hines is one of those guys, a redshirt freshman from Corsicana, Texas.
Moody. Good stick that time by Andrew McCain.
I thought what was very interesting as I was reading about Florida and some of the young kids that we thought we might see tonight. We just saw Omarius Hines. We saw Frankie Hammond. We've seen TJ Lawrence. All these kids dressed about 4 or 5 games last year, and almost virtually every one of them dressed for the national title game. It was because Urban Meyer wanted them to feel that atmosphere and know what it was like to play for Florida.
Bradley cranks, throws, touchdown. Justin Williams. Tebow leads the applause.
Justin Williams is one of these kids that has bided his time. He's played a lot of special teams. He's played defense. He's played offense here. And this is really what John Brantley's about. The ball comes out of his hand quickly, and it is on the money in a tight spiral that he fitted into a tight hole to get it into Justin Williams for the touchdown.
Jonathan Phillips missed it. He missed only one PAT last year. That was blocked in the Ole Miss game, a game they lost by 1 point.
Kentrell Lockett elevated and blocked the kick that will forever live in infamy here in Florida and will be celebrated in Oxford. Watch how tight this hole is. Ball's in his hand, comes out quick. Look at that, on the money. That's who he is now. He's a stand-up, ball come out of your hand, fast, on the money, tight spiral. Outstanding job. And Tim says, hey, just like I showed you.
So John Brantley on the headsets with the coaches. And redshirt junior Justin Williams adds his name to the scoring ledger. 48-3 Florida.
Well, as you start to, as this game now is it's been out of hand a little bit, obviously in Charleston Southern's, when you look at it from Charleston Southern's perspective, 48-3 now, been out of hand here for a little bit, but you begin to think about Florida and down the road and what could affect the Gators as they try to make this run to become the third team in history to defend a national championship. We're going to talk about some of those things here over the second half.
Gerald Stevenson.
One of those teams I'm talking about are the LSU Tigers, and the reason LSU is because if there's a team in the country that matches Florida, it's from an athletic standpoint, it is the LSU Tigers. They will play them in Death Valley, one of the toughest places in all the land to play. That will be probably a late afternoon game against the Gators, and LSU won the national title just 2 years ago. So they've got a number of players that have been to the mountaintop before. I really think LSU is probably the team, if they have a chance, that might be the team that could get the Gators.
The Gators all over this handoff. Sanders led the charge. The redshirt junior from Bradenton, wrapping up Mike Jefferson. Sanders has dropped some weight, Dave. Done a good job working on that body, a weightlifter. And the quickness off the ball, impressive. Toscano quickly. And it's Antoine Ivy on the reception.
Bob, let's talk about another team that I think has a chance. We know Georgia went to Stillwater and lost this afternoon 24-10 to the Cowboys, but this is a team that got thumped by the Gators in Jacksonville last year. We see the score there, but it's a rivalry game, and whenever you have a game that has that much emotion and that much tied into it, those games are usually classics. I think Georgia will be a better football team when they play Florida than maybe they were, and certainly than they were today. And that anytime you have a rivalry like those two have, they have a chance.
Nice grab by Preku, but shy of the first down. Another team that's getting a lot of love in the preseason, the Ole Miss Rebels.
Well, the Rebels came right here. I absolutely was in the building for that one last year. They won 31-30 here. They beat Florida. They have the confidence. They believe they belong on the elite level after their demolition of the Red Raiders in the Cotton Bowl. And Houston Nutt is one of the great big game motivators in the game.
Now the Charleston Southern Buccaneers will get the punt team on, and they better go quickly. The play clock's at 3, 2. Do they get it snapped? Now a whistle. And they have to burn a timeout.
Well, and really no reason to take a timeout there. If you're going to punt the football, what difference does it make if you take a 5-yard penalty there? You still have your timeout in the pocket. If you'd made the decision to punt it, go ahead and punt it. The Gators up big here in the Swamp.
Tonight's game is in high definition, presented by Philips HD.
Fantastic scene here at Gainesville. Third quarter, 48-3. And this tremendous crowd of 90,000 welcoming the Gators back to the Swamp tonight. 48-3 is our score. Charleston Southern with the punt.
Yeah, Tim Jones kicking the ball. They lined up in a shotgun formation, and A.J. Toscano touches it down at about the Gator 44. So tried to show a little trickeration and then decided to kick it.
Dave, you were talking about the possible stumbling blocks for this Florida team. And certainly we have to talk about the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Yeah, we talked about Ole Miss before, and certainly if Ole Miss or Alabama end up getting an opportunity at the Gators, it will be because they're playing in the SEC title game. That's where Alabama stumbled last year in a classic football game. I think they have the two best linebackers, inside linebackers in the country, in Hightower and McClain, and they certainly have a tremendous defense that can get after you and run the football as well, take the clock out of play.
Moody with the inside handoff and into Buccaneer territory at the 42-yard line.
And Moody, you see Moody's one of those classic backs that does a great job of keeping his pad level low. Excellent running.
To the outside, and Gang tackled after the catch. And that time it's Omarius Hines. Brantley off the bench, 2 for 4. It's 2nd and 1. Controls the high snap. Moody breaks the tackle. Breaks another. A tremendous effort by Moody inside the 15 to the 12. And you hear the crowd, Moody.
Well, there he is. That's the strength. He's a bigger back. He runs with his pad level low. Very difficult to get him wrapped up because all you get is shoulder pads, headgear, and knees. And he ran through about 5 tackles right there on the big run.
6'1", 210. And Moody spinning inside the 5 and down to the 4.
Boy, a little highlight reel run there. Dempsey and Rainey will love this one on film when they watch film on Sunday or Monday of this one. Dip to the inside and then a little spin move. Got him back to the outside. He's got a little grin on his face too, because I think his mates on the sideline are whooping it up.
Moody is up to 81 yards on 7 carries. Demps, the high man, with 89 yards and 2 touchdowns. Moody trying to finish it off. Powers to the end zone, but just shy. He has been the featured back on this drive.
And you start talking about guys that have been taken out of the game. Now Aaron Hernandez no longer in the game. TJ Pridemore, a redshirt freshman, number 45, now in playing that spot. His versatility of being able, he played a little linebacker when he got here. He's played fullback, and now he's learning that H-back move position. Won a couple of state championships at Buford High School in Georgia.
And a whistle will kill the play.
Finishing off with TJ Pridemore, I played with his father, played with Tom Pridemore with the Atlanta Falcons, and Tom and his wife Lee are here today to watch TJ play.
Prior to the snap, false start. Number 78 of the offense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
This is TJ, number 45. Dad was a Hall of Famer at West Virginia.
Yeah, tremendous football player. Played safety for the Falcons. And his son is a little bit bigger version. Tom Pridemore a little bit smaller than his boy.
Moody denied. Emmanuel touched it just 1 time in the first half for 6 yards. That's his 8th carry of the second half.
Well, he becomes the workhorse now, Bob, in this situation, because normally if you were in a game against Tennessee or you're in a game against LSU, Tim Tebow would be getting a lot of these short yardage carries, a lot of these pound you carries. But now Moody becomes really Tim Tebow in the running game at this point. They really don't want Brantley taking those inside runs. He'll get a few, but they don't want to pound him the way they would with Tebow.
Brantley looking to throw. Good coverage by the Buccaneers. And Brantley down at the 8.
Boy, outstanding job by the Buccaneers to cover up. They run a little sprint right with Brantley and try to flood the end zone with 3 receivers. But look at the Buccaneers spread it out here. Now, there might have been a quick throw right there, but you don't want to turn the football down over in this end of the field. Good job by Brantley to pull it down, but an excellent job by Charleston Southern to take away that 3-man flood route to the right side of the field.
And the Gators are going to take a timeout.
Urban ran down the sideline and burned that timeout.
Second half.
First timeout burned by Florida here in this second half.
I thought it was very telling when Urban left the field and talked with our Jen Hildreth downstairs just before half. Urban talked about getting plays in and out, and he's very much, it's not just the players that are trying to get coached up here. It's the coaching staff working. And when you say play clean and fast, he's talking about his staff as well. He wants his staff operating at the highest level where they don't miss anything, where they're on time so the players have the opportunity on the field to execute. So that was very telling, and that's who he is. I mean, he's the guy that's running the show. It is definitely Urban Meyer, and then everybody else does what he's looking for. He's got a great staff here, and you see the numbers. I mean, it's incredible what Urban Meyer has been able to do here. Obviously, as a head coach at Utah, tremendous at Bowling Green. I mean, he's been a tremendous head football coach.
3rd and 7. Brantley. Incomplete. Lawrence, the intended receiver. Boy, he has got a cannon.
I think Lawrence got his hands on the ball, but I don't think the throw was for him. It looked like he was trying to get the ball into the back of the end zone for Cade Holliday. He's looking at Holliday on the right, number 22, and Lawrence comes in the picture and tries to snag it out of the air. TJ, another one of those redshirt freshmen that's going to vie for time here as a young player.
Bradley has to run it, and he will be denied at the 6.
Boy, good job by Charleston Southern to zone it off at the goal line and really take away the 5 options that Brantley was trying to get to.
Chris Patrick makes the tackle, the initial hit, and Jay Mills and his Buccaneers defense get the ball back for the offense on downs. 6:06 to go, third quarter, 48-3. We showed you those coaches a second ago and Bob Stoops at Oklahoma. One note on the Sooners tonight, their outstanding quarterback Sam Bradford, the Heisman Trophy winner, is injured his shoulder, has come out of the game, and they're in a tough tight one with BYU at 10-7. More on that as we continue. 6:06 to go in the third, and we'll come back to Gainesville in a moment.
Fred Hickman with a studio update. Virginia Tech and Bama in Atlanta, and Dyrell Roberts takes this one 98 yards the kickoff to help Virginia Tech go up by a score of 10-9, and that's where they stand now in the second quarter. Thumb it in poll results. Best quarterback in SEC history, Tim Tebow showing the way. South 76884 is what you do. Now back to the fellas in Gainesville.
Charleston Southern takes over. 1st and 10 from their own 7. Stevenson.
How about the pursuit there, Bob, by Bostic, the freshman linebacker, Jonathan Bostic. We talked about him. His pop played for the Lions for a couple of years, 3 years. He's one of the redshirt freshmen, or a true freshman on his team, enrolled early in January, and they are really excited about this kid. 6'1", 235 as a freshman. Boy, he's learned well. He was sideline to sideline right there.
Incomplete, intended for Ivy. Toscano. 18 for 29, 1 pick and 157 yards.
Yeah, I think he wanted Ivy to continue to run, and Ivy kind of shut it down right there, and Toscano led him with the throw, and he was a little frustrated with his running back there.
Third down and 2. Toscano to the 21. First down, Buccaneers.
Yeah, good read by A.J. Toscano on the option there to dip back to the inside to get the first down.
Next week, the season begins with a Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader. The Cowboys take on the Buccaneers, or Brett Favre makes his Vikings debut as they battle the Browns. Then the Redskins take on the Giants, or you might see the 49ers Cardinals or the Rams Seahawks. Coverage begins next Sunday with America's #1 pregame show at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. Check local listings for the game and start time in your area. On the option to Stevenson. Good job by Stevenson tonight, Dave. They're asking him to make all these long runs to try to get to that edge, and the young man's responding.
He really has, and boy, he got an outstanding block. They're playing DeMarcus Moon and Ivy. They're interchanging them. That time Ivy was in the backfield, and number 26, watch 26 lead this play. He's going to get a block on Bostic. We talked about right there. How about that block against Bostic, and that gets Stevenson to the corner, and that's what allowed the dynamic wide receiver for Charleston Southern to get up the field. And that's what you got to have. You got to have all parts of the thing working.
Toscano, pass batted down and incomplete. Let's get more on the Gerald Stevenson story from Jen Hildreth.
Well, Bob, earlier in this game, we talked about the staff using Stevenson on defense to help this team train and prepare for Florida. I want to ask the coaches if a guy like Stevenson, who perhaps is one of their best suited to match up against the speed and athleticism that the Florida Gators bring, if he gets a little extra motivated for this game. You guys might remember offensive coordinator Chuck Kelly said, not a little, a lot motivated. I mean, these guys know this is a big stage for them to play on. This is their chance to show they can play at another level.
Nowhere to run that time for Antoine Ivy. And Jelani Jenkins. Keep your eye on this linebacker.
Yeah, another freshman that can play here at Florida. Jelani Jenkins.
So on 4th down, a punting situation as Andy Brown comes in. Brown has punted the ball 7 times previously. And it's Frankie Hammond, the deep man for the Gators. Hammond makes the catch at the 32. Has a seam, but cuts it back to the inside. And Hammond down at the 47. A timeout with 3:08 remaining here in the 3rd quarter in beautiful Gainesville, Florida, the campus of the University of Florida. Back after this. And Hill Griffin Stadium at historic Florida Field in Gainesville. For our opening broadcast. Bob Rathman, Dave Archer, Jen Hildreth with you. 48-3, the #1 team in the country. And going back to work offensively near midfield. And the run this time is Corey Henderson.
Hand off to number 23,
Mike Gillisee is the true freshman runner from DeLand, and Matt Woods made the tackle. The throw comes to the near side, and Frankie Hammond getting in his first game action of his career with the reception. Down to the field and Jams.
All right, guys, time to have a little fun. Obviously, there is so much written and talked about Tim Tebow, who may be on the sideline now, but we thought we'd put together a few fun facts for you to try to figure out, fact or fiction, in our Tim Tebow trivia. So a couple of things we put together for you to think about. Tim Tebow has been on the cover of Men's Fitness. Well, I almost just got knocked out, but I'm still on my feet. Just want you guys to know.
Hang in there, Jim.
I'm surviving. Okay, back to our trivia. Tim Tebow has been on the cover of Men's Fitness, spent his summer vacation on a mission trip, sung on stage with Kenny Chesney, been a $2,000 clue on Jeopardy, and has a tree carved in his likeness. So think about that, people, and I'll try to stay alive down here.
Jen, I thought, showed good quickness on that one.
She did, yeah. That might be a scholarship coming her way.
48-3, and the flag stopping the proceedings.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 50 of the offense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot, 1st down.
Sam Roby.
Sam getting his first game action of his career.
Yeah, a ton of these guys playing for the first time. And again, I want to throw out the fact that Urban Meyer had a lot of these guys dressed. They weren't going to play last year, but a lot of these guys that are on the field now for Florida dressed in those last couple of games to kind of set the stage for what it would be like to be a Gator.
Brandley hit at the 15.
Tim Tebow, he liked that. Brantley dropped the shoulder. That is not what Urban Meyer's looking for from Brantley, by the way. But Kenny Johnson comes up the freshman corner to put the hit on him. He would like to see Brantley maybe step out of bounds here, but I don't know that he had the chance. Good job by Johnson to come up and drop the hammer. And then just like Tim Tebow's done to coaches, he almost knocked Brantley to the ground.
Brantley will throw, and on his knees to make the reception is Justin Williams.
It was a great segment. It was a great segment last year. You know, Tebow's so fired up on the field, and he comes running to the sideline, and it was late in the game, and Dan Mullen's down on the game. You know, the offensive coordinator come down, now the Mississippi State head coach, and Mullen comes running out, and they're gonna do a little chest bump. He hammers Mullen to the ground. Mullen told me after the game, he says, "I'm never doing that again."
Brantley, touchdown. Great catch by Cade Holliday. And you're right, young Mr. Brantley has a hose.
He really does. He's got all the skills. He sees coverage extremely well, and this is really what Urban Meyer wanted. He wanted Brantley to get extended playing time so he could see some of these things. Still, he saw that he had man coverage, so there was no reason to have to look off any kind of safety. He knew he could immediately get his eyes on the receiver he wanted to go to, and he found Holiday in the back corner of the back middle of the end zone.
Phillips with 24 seconds left in the third quarter. Boots it through. And the Gators up the lead to 55-3. So the celebration on the Florida sideline a bit subdued, but not in the stands. Let's take a look at our O'Charlie's fans of the game.
A couple of young Gators got the hair painted.
I like it.
Boy, and it's a happening in all the SEC venues across the South. And in this place obviously takes no backseat to anybody, but it's an event that begins in about 10 o'clock, 9:30 in the morning. And when you've got a game at 7, you know, you got to have a little bit of durability as a young guy to hang in there that long. And then those two guys are still chomping.
It starts at 10 in the morning on Friday.
That's right.
And we'll get a flavor of that. You talked about Dan Mullen. Next week,
that's right,
we'll be in Auburn for the Mississippi State game.
And a great venue at Jordan-Hare Stadium with the Tigers taking on the Mississippi State Bulldogs, and that'll be obviously their first game in the SEC play for both those clubs.
Man, Gene Chizik is winning 23-13 over Louisiana Tech down on the Plains tonight. Out of the end zone. Harrison on the return. Breaks one tackle. Tries to step through another. Gets it back to the 17. So two coaches in Mullen and Chizik that will be going head-to-head in their first SEC games. Gene Chizik coming back, former defensive coordinator at Auburn, leaving Iowa State to replace Tommy Tuberville, and Dan Mullen gets his first shot as a head coach in the SEC as he takes over the Bulldog program in Starkville.
Yeah, they're two guys that can come off the edge and get after your passer right there. KJ Wright had an outstanding year last year. He plays linebacker, but he slides up and rushes the passer. And then the beast off the edge, Antonio Coleman for the Tigers.
Andrew Trudowski is now in at quarterback for Charleston Southern, and he completes the pass to Alex Neal. Toscano threw for 157 yards, and now his replacement, Andrew Trudowski, is into the game. That's the end of the third quarter with our score. Number 1 Florida 55, Charleston Southern 3. As we check our Phillips HD game summary tonight, a 55-3 score in favor of Florida. Great running from the backs tonight for the Gators, Dave Archer.
Well, 15 carries, 251 yards, 3 touchdowns, and really it's what Urban Meyer wanted to find out about his team. How are we going to operate when the lights come on? You don't know about your team. You think you know in practice, but when you get into games, that's when it really starts to happen for you. And his offensive line played great.
We begin quarter number 4 here in Gainesville. Charleston Southern with the football. And making the carry, B.J. Hackworth, redshirt sophomore from Jacksonville. As we were showing you the game summary, you could see the swinging and swaying as the time-honored tradition of the singing of "We Are the Boys of Old Florida." It is like, and you talked about the atmosphere, Dave. It is like a family reunion. You know, a lot of folks congregate here. They haven't seen their friends and their classmates perhaps since the end of last season. So right. It's a real coming together as the return to campus is on all across the country with college football. Andrew Trudowski Continues on this drive as we begin play here in the fourth quarter. Another Californian. We talked to Jay Mills about that. He said that's our recruiting philosophy. We go from palm trees to palm trees. We went from Southern California to Charleston, South Carolina.
Dead ball. Delay a game on the offense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
Now Trudenowski, this is his second series of the game, and so timing for him and could jars things loose with a penalty. But Trudenowski's a kid that comes from L.A. Harbor College and junior college transfer. Two-time conference player of the year and all-conference player. And he threw for over 6,000 yards and 50 touchdowns and ran for another 18. So this is a kid that comes with pretty high pedigree himself from junior college, now trying to transfer it to the major college level.
Throws it and is complete to DeMarcus Boone. Adrian Buechele with the tackle. Buechele, a redshirt freshman, another Texan. He just played his senior year in high school there. He's a Miami native.
Well, they've just got so many people on this team that are young kids that have been chomping at the bit to get in to play, and this is a great opportunity. You're going to talk about what a great opportunity is for the Charleston Southern kids to play. It's a great opportunity for these young players and for Urban Meyer to see him under the gun and see who will be some of those players that are playing meaningful minutes for him against the likes of LSU and Tennessee.
The throw to the outside and Alex Neal.
Well, this has been the game plan for Charleston Southern all night, is to try to work the edges of Florida's defense, feeling that they probably weren't fast enough or big enough to handle them to the inside. They've just really probed the water in that area, but they've really filled it up on the outside, trying to throw the quick screens and really have done a decent job with it. But Florida is so quick to react. They've kept them in 3rd and long situations all night.
And this ball is caught. Nice catch at the 36-yard line. Alex Neal out of Coral Reef High School in Miami.
Force a punting situation, and sometimes fans will ask, well, why didn't he go past the first down marker before he threw it? That's not the way the passing game works. Passing game works based on your timing of your protection up front and how you layer your pass route. There's a route in behind him. He's responsible for a specific area. He opened up. That's where Trudenowski had to throw the ball.
Andy Brown is the punter. He's gotten a workout tonight. Runs out and boots it out of bounds. No, it's going to stay in and rolls back toward the numbers and will be touched at the 39-yard line. A break here with 11:53 to play in the ball game. 55-3 Florida. (55-3) Florida. And it is time for our Jaguar performance of the game. Brought to you by the new Jaguar. And the running game for Florida tonight. Demps, Rainey, Moody, outstanding. 3 rushing touchdowns for the Gators. And those top 3 backs, all with 76+ yards.
And you want to throw the offensive line in as a part of that Jaguar performance of the game, because they were tremendous tonight.
And it's Omarius Hines with the reception.
Well, Rainey touched it once and it was big. Good job of rushing by all 3 of those guys, but you know, 15 rushes, 251 yards, phenomenal average per carry, over 16 yards a carry. But the offensive line I thought was very impressive tonight.
Catch is made at the 39-yard line. Hines, a lifelong Gator fan, growing up in Texas, down I-45 from Dallas and Corsicana. Brantley has had the ball club since the end of the 2nd quarter. John going with a deep ball, and it is incomplete. Hines was his man.
And you watch his play calling. This is Steve Addazio. This is the play calling they would, if it was in the first quarter and Tim Tebow were in the game, this is what they would be doing. If they saw a weakness and they wanted to see something, Hines has got that big speed. Brantley just needed to put a little bit more air under the ball for Hines to run underneath it. But he ran right by the corner to that side.
Gillislee inside the 30 to the 28. Joe Robinson the tackle.
Well, it's just like a tidal wave coming at you. They just interchange players and just keep coming.
Gillislee. This little cutback to the 15. Well, we're talking about Tim Tebow in the trivia. Let's get the final words on that from Jen.
Well, Bob, I just want you to know also I've moved farther away from the sideline, so I'm not going to get taken out this time. There you go. There's our little factoids we came up. True or not? Actually, yeah, it's a trick question. They were all true, including the one at the very bottom, which was that Tim does have a tree carved in his likeness here in Gainesville. There it is. That's affectionately known as Trebo around these parts. I particularly like the little wooden Heisman statue that's also carved into it. Should point out that's in front of Ballyhoo's, a restaurant down here. They took great care of us when we were there last night, didn't they, Bob?
Yes, they did. Dave Archer was the MVP. And Gillislee with another rush down to the 6. Yeah, the fame of Tim Tebow is rather remarkable. I mean, even in a day and age of internet and Facebook and Twitter and you name it, this mass explosion of the internet, new media. Gillislee takes it in.
You're going to have to add another face to our graphic as far as ground gainers.
Yes.
Because Gillislee has been solid since he's come in behind an offensive line. It's made up of a number of the number 2s and maybe some of the 3s, and they're just pushing Charleston Southern around now.
6 carries, 38 yards, and a touchdown. Everybody getting into the act. 61-3. And the extra point coming from Jonathan Phillips. .33 to play. And the Gators keep on chomping.
Fred Hickman with a studio update, and as Bob mentioned earlier, Heisman hopeful quarterback Sam Bradford of Oklahoma down just before halftime and out with a sprained shoulder at the hands of BYU. BYU leading that game now in the fourth quarter, 14-13. The Thumb It In poll results are in. Best quarterback in SEC history, and you go with Tim Tebow. All right, so let's get you back out to Gainesville. Back to Bob and Dave in the Swamp.
A wise choice. Yeah, by our fans.
You couldn't have gone wrong with any of them, but I think Tebow certainly is the guy right now that deserves consideration to be the best.
Mike Jefferson on the return. He brings it out to the 27-yard line. Well, a night of return for these Gators, but also a night of change and new responsibilities.
Yeah, Steve Addazio takes over as the play caller for this football team, and he did an outstanding job, because what you're trying to do, and think about the dilemma that he has, his ability to get the football to all these playmakers.
It's doing the little things that helps your team win. Our Regions Bank doing the little things for the Gators tonight. 613 yards to date. Jefferson over the 35 and 37. Good run for the senior from Trinidad. Sat out last year, returned to the ball club. 2nd and 1 on the 9-yard pickup. Yeah, we heard Fred and showed you a moment ago the Sam Bradford story. Remarkable the depth of the talent at the quarterback position nationally. We've talked so much, of course, about Tebow tonight, Sam Bradford. This year's Heisman Trophy race has already made history. Never have the top 3 vote getters from a previous year's Heisman race played in the same season.
Well, you talk about a guy throwing his hat in the ring for the Heisman Trophy race. How about Max Hall? He's already over 330 yards passing in that game, has now led his team to the lead over the Sooners. That could be a feather in his cap towards maybe a Heisman opportunity.
Tim Tebow, a couple of years back, a shot at a 2nd one, of course, this year. Colt McCoy at Texas. If Cole were to win it, we'd go into the bowl season with 3 active Heisman Trophy winners. Is that amazing?
3 great plays.
Neal. 1st down, Buccaneers.
And 3 guys that will be playing at the next level, too. There's been a lot of talk about McCoy and Bradford or shoe-ins. I don't think there's any question that Tim Tebow plays quarterback at the next level.
Urban Meyer, of course, runs such a magnificent program here in Florida. And he and his staff have just done some unbelievable things in a short amount of time. We want to go down to the field. Jen Hildreth will tell us about some others. Look at this massive humanity as they go to the 45-yard line, and finally the whistle blows. It's not all Urban and his staff. He had some motivational speakers come in.
Well, that's one of the things that Urban Meyer does for his team. He brings in people to speak to the team in the preseason. This preseason, he had Lou Holtz, Tony Dungy. He also had a couple of military officers, including a Green Beret, Don Wolf, who's actually standing here on the sideline right behind me. And it was the military guys whose message really resounded. I spoke with David Nelson, receiver, and he told me that the message that really stuck with him was one that said overconfidence leads to complacency. Complacency leads to failure. And while he was nowhere near trying to make a comparison between the military and athletics, he was quick to point out, and everybody knows complacency is certainly one of those buzzwords they do not want to hear here around Gainesville.
Off the hands of Travis Jefferson. And we all say thank you.
No question about it.
9/11's coming up. Be thinking about them as we do every day. And, a great job by Urban Meyer. 62-3. 7-11 to go.
Urban thinks just everything through that he does, whether it's an addition here to the stadium or it's who he brings in to talk to his football team. Everything's very meaningful to Urban Meyer.
Swing to Neal. He'll take it to the 50 and believe he's got the 1st down. We'll check. Finley coming out to make the tackle. Another Gator. D. Finley is a freshman from Auburn, Alabama.
Yeah, how about that? Auburn, Alabama.
Under 7 to play. B.J. Hackworth the carry.
Well, the score obviously is not going to be what Charleston Southern will want to reflect on, but it's certainly the moment and being on the stage with the #1 team in the country is something Jay Mills' kids will always remember. We talked about, even though they're getting thumped here in this game, score-wise, they have moved the football and they have made some plays against the #1 Gator defense when they were on the field. So that's certainly something they're going to take away from this game and give them an opportunity when they get back to conference play.
What I take away from this performance by Charleston Southern, we talk so much about Florida's defense and how many turnovers they generate. Only 1 turnover tonight for Charleston Southern. That's the interception by Major Wright. They have not fumbled the ball 1 time.
They have taken care of the football, and they've had a couple of delay of game penalties, but for the most part they've been pretty penalty free as well. Done a nice job with that. 6 penalties on the night for 40 yards. So we're talking about the offside maybe or an illegal motion, so they have not been overly penalized as well. Well-coached team.
The quarterback, Trudowski, will keep it. Jay Mills is in his 7th season as the head coach. Talked about the influences in his coaching career. Jay was an accounting major, and his dad, his #1 influencer, said, you know, young Jay, I don't see you sitting behind a desk. Why don't you chase this coaching dream? Paul Hansen was his collegiate head coach, and then he served as a graduate assistant under Lou Holtz at Notre Dame. In fact, he spent 3 years with the Irish.
Yeah, he got his master's degree from Notre Dame.
He was first under Jerry Faust, and on his birthday, December 2nd, 1985, they came back from a game in Miami. Jerry Faust walked in, said, boys, I'm done. He walked out the door, and Lou Holtz walked in. Jay said, I had a chance to spend 1 year and learn under Lou Holtz, and he did. Stayed that 3rd year as a GA, and what a year that must have been.
Oh, yeah.
Under Lou Holtz.
Served him well. It served him well. Boy, he had a great call on right there. He called the we've got a different name for it in the locker room, of course, but it's the oh no screen. You can substitute any name you want in for it, but it's when you roll the quarterback right and you have a player that's on that side that kind of rolls on the ground and slips out the backside to the left. And he had him open, and it would have been a big gainer, but Trudowski threw it over his head.
Timeout. And we'll take it with them with 4:41 to play in this 4th quarter. 62-3, Florida.
Hi, I'm Cassidy Hubbard. You'll see me this fall on SEC Gridiron Live, a brand new show, giving you a voice like never before. I want to hear what you have to say. I'll be on Twitter, Facebook, and we'll have viewer polls every week. You tell me what's on your mind, and I'll talk about it live on the air. That's SEC Gridiron Live. Join Charles Davis, Randy Cross, David Pollack, and me, Cassidy Hubbard, on SEC Gridiron Live.
Catch SEC Gridiron Live Wednesdays at 10 on Sun Sports. Presented by O'Charlie's.
Back in Gainesville, 4:41 to play. Charleston Southern with the football at the Florida 40. Some good inside running once again by B.J. Hackworth. Here's our auto owner's insurance defensive coverage of the game. Let's go to the Major.
Well, this is the one turnover you talked about. Toscano picked off by Major Wright. His first interception, obviously, of the year. He had 4 last year, and a team that led the country in interceptions. Last year in this game, they played Hawaii opening day and had 3 interceptions in that game and took 2 of them back for touchdowns.
And Major had 1 of them.
Yes, he did.
In that Hawaii game. 3-year starter at free safety. Trudowski to the 25 and smackdown. Lorenzo Edwards, the junior linebacker from Orlando.
And freshman linebacker Jelani Jenkins, a little slow to get up, holding the shin.
Dave, a very impressive performance. Of course, the one fear, of course, is injury.
Right.
But is there anything that can derail this Gator Express?
Well, we talked about the 4 teams we thought might have a chance if they give, things go well, but really complacency. The Gators could be their own worst enemy. Expectations have killed many a title hope. I mean, there's a huge burden on their shoulders of being #1 in the country. And then turnovers. Their 1 loss last year, 2 Gator fumbles in the 3rd quarter really gave Ole Miss some life. Ole Miss was down in the game 10 points, allowed Ole Miss to get back and tie it. And then Ole Miss had the big play from Jevin Sneed, the long pass to Marshae Green that ended up being the game winner, and they walk out of here 31-30. But it's really Florida avoiding some of the pitfalls that kind of come in with a team that has a lot of expectations. I just don't think from a complacency standpoint, and you heard Jen Hildreth talk about it earlier, that's not who Urban Meyer is, and I just don't see that can be a part of it. What you do hate and you see Jelani Jenkins walking off the field, is you want to stay away from injury as best you can. It looks like Jelani's moving okay there. You certainly don't want that to creep up. That's a bug you cannot control.
Yeah, that's your backup weak side linebacker and a terrific talent. Twardowski throws incomplete.
The coverage from Florida has been extremely tight tonight, too. I think that's been another thing that has stuck out in my mind, whether it's been the unit that's on the field now, some of the young kids that are playing, getting their opportunity, or when Joe Hayden and Wandy Pierre-Louis were on the field, they have been really tight on the coverage. And so that's always something that's impressed me about Florida and Charlie Strong's defense, is they contest virtually every throw. Part of it has to do with their speed. Part of it has to do with they're just tremendous athletes, and they're really good.
Twardowski throwing incomplete. 88. Greg Fiegel was the intended receiver. It'll be 3rd down and 10.
This will be something you'll want to watch as Florida moves on in this season. What they've done to Charleston Southern's quarterbacks is they've never really been able to get comfortable. We talked about the speed, and it's well documented, but their ability to run the defense Charlie Strong's calling and hit the gaps on the blitzes makes a quarterback unsettled. And when you can't set your feet to throw the football, or if you can't get a good line as you roll out to get your shoulder square, it's very uncomfortable to throw the ball. And they've made Charleston Southern at quarterback uncomfortable all night.
And they have to burn yet another timeout. Their final one tonight. Time now for our Phillips HD play of the game.
Well, Urban Meyer is the guy that coaches the special teams here, and this is a guy, you heard him talk about Brandon James getting the return, his first of his career on a kickoff return for a touchdown. He had returned 83 kicks prior to this one with nothing getting in the end zone, and 10 years since the Gators had returned one for a touchdown. Urban Meyer, great story about Urban Meyer. He's sitting in his office at Notre Dame. We talked about Jay Mills at Notre Dame. Obviously, Urban Meyer was there under Bob Davie, and he was coaching the tight ends. You know, a happy life. I got the tight ends here at Notre Dame, and all of a sudden Bob Davie cracks the door and says, "Hey, you got the special teams," and shuts the door. He didn't know anything about special teams, and he said, "Okay," and he studied it just like he does everything else, and got, you know, talked to people that were the best in the business at special teams, and lo and behold, maybe one of the best special teams in the country. It is some of the best special teams in the country under Urban Meyer here at Florida.
That's a great shot of Urban with that ear-to-ear smile. He loves this ball club. As they play out the final 3 minutes plus of this quarter. You know, you rarely hear of a coach publicly stating how confident he is in his team, how much he loves his team, how much he can't wait for them to compete. Everything's in place to make another run at a national championship.
I love these players. You know, I love being around them. My best part of the day is not sitting here. It's around the players and meetings and coaching them and that. I love this. I love these guys, and that's the best thing about this team.
Tackle is broken, and down inside the 15. They'll mark him out of bounds at the 10. That's Kreku. .224 and counting.
Well, Charleston Southern trying to push one across here against the mighty Gators. Regardless who's on the field, they got the Gator on the side of their helmet, and they desperately want to score a touchdown right here in the swamp.
Off the hands and incomplete. Josh Atkinson, the intended receiver.
Well, this is what part of what made Florida so tough last year, and you saw it in the national championship game against OU, is their ability to keep people out of the end zone, create some kind of tip ball. We saw a couple interceptions, a fumble and an interception inside the 5 that snuffed out a couple of Sooner drives in the national title game. This team was 4th in the country against scoring against, and they just are so difficult to get the ball in the end zone.
Incomplete at the 1.
And I guarantee you, Charlie Strong, the defensive coordinator, he's standing on about the 25-yard line right now, calling the defense. He's coaching as hard right now as he's coached all night. He does not want Charleston Southern to get in the end zone. That is a tremendous football coach right there, folks. Why he's not a head coach somewhere in football, I have no idea, because I know he loves it here, but he is a spectacular coach, tremendous recruiter, Charlie Strong.
A minute 48 left. 3rd and 10. The throw is tipped and incomplete. And the Buccaneers will have one more crack at it. The final is in, and BYU stuns number 3 Oklahoma.
Playing in the new big house in Dallas. Jerry Jones's creation there in Dallas, and that is a tremendous upset right there. I mean, BYU obviously 20th ranked in the country preseason, very highly regarded because of Max Hall, but that is an unbelievable upset.
Ivy with 3 blue shirts around him, and more to come. And Charlie Strong's defense indeed keeps the Buccaneers out of the end zone.
Yeah, you watch him congratulate these guys coming off the field. Yeah, they're clear out on the numbers, pulling these guys off the field. Congratulating them, keep them out of the end zone.
A minute 28 remaining.
Well, for the Gators, Troy comes in here next week, and then it's one of those tilts that I think everybody's been looking forward to. Tennessee will come calling. Tennessee, a tremendous performance under Lane Kiffin today against Western Kentucky. We put 63 on the board today against Western Kentucky, held them to 7. I thought they looked outstanding on defense. We got a chance to watch a little bit of that game. That'll be the first real test probably for the Gators. I know Troy's not excited about me saying that, but
Andrew Blaylock has come in at quarterback. We didn't see Jordan Reed tonight. Blaylock will get a couple of snaps.
Well, Jordan Reed is the young kid that's kind of that heir apparent to Brantley, and I think they want to protect, maybe redshirt him.
And the quarterback keeps it out to the 20. First down, Florida. They'll spot it shy of the 20. So here's a look at that schedule with Troy, then Tennessee.
And there's the game looming right there, folks.
Yes.
That's at LSU. Of course, the Georgia game, and Florida State at the end here at home.
And how emotional will that be for Tim Tebow's final game in the Swamp?
Well, and the Seminoles are going to be a little salty on defense. That'll be an interesting game.
That will be the final play from scrimmage. Tim Tebow opens his senior campaign. Urban Meyer and the Gators doing what they wanted to do, come out and get the season underway in dominating fashion, and they win it by a final score of 62-3. Dave Archer.
Thank you.
It was a night where the Gators did what they wanted to do.
Yeah, they wanted to come out, play clean, fast. I think they did that. They made explosive plays. I still think that there are probably a few questions or who's going to answer the call at some of the positions, but I think he's very pleased with their performance this evening.
Final score, Florida 62, Charleston Southern 3. Join us again next week when we bring you Mississippi State and Auburn on SEC Saturday Night Football. Game time is 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central. And don't forget, coming up next, more football action. So stay with us. Dave Archer, Jen Hildreth, Bob Rathman saying so long from Gainesville, Florida.
The following is a special presentation of Gator Vision.
He got Fox in front, down the sideline to 30, down to the 20, down to the 10, and he will take it all the way for a touchdown from Brandon James. The Gators have a kickoff return for a touchdown. Powers down to the goal line, touchdown.
It's Florida football with Urban Meyer. Now, here's the voice of the Gators, Mick Hubert.
Once again, hi everybody. Thank you for joining us. I'm Mick Hubert along with head coach Urban Meyer. We welcome you to Florida football. The Gators kicked off the 2009 season with their 20th consecutive opening night victory, 124 consecutive sellouts. The Gators a 62-3 winner over Charleston Southern. And Urban, congratulations on a big night.
Well, 1-0, and I like to start the show, and like I did the radio show last night, just thank our fans, and to think it was not a SEC game. The band, the Dazzlers, the cheerleaders, the student section, and our fans. I mean, that was major league atmosphere. And let our players start. They get their feet on the ground. There are a lot of first-time players out there yesterday, and it's priceless to let them go play in that arena, in that environment. And you look at the new scoreboards, the Heisman's up the way they have them. It's the finest stadium in college football, and we really appreciate it. We only got 6 more shots in that home stadium, so I just want to thank our fans.
What a night, and I know that you'd preached all along about just play hard. Did you get that last night?
I think we did. I haven't watched the film yet. I'm going to do that right after this. But, the whole focus after Tuesday was not who we play. It was just there's a lot of competition right now. And if you don't play very hard, the chance of playing next week might be diminished. And you have a program when that happens. It's the first time since we've been here. That's exactly the way it is. And our starters didn't get much work. But when you have a veteran team coming back, it's the 2s and 3s that you have to find out who can perform in the arena.
Well, we've got an action-packed show for you, and we'll continue with more in just a moment.
Coming up on Florida football with Urban Meyer, we'll look at the win over Charleston Southern. Inside Gator football takes a trip to the White House. After that, we'll go all access. Florida football highlights with Urban Meyer is brought to you by Verizon Wireless, the official communications partner of the Florida Gators. UF and Shads. Pepsi. Florida Pest Control and Termador. And by Florida Dairy Farmers. Got milk?
Guys, we need to talk. I know we're back at school now, but you're going a little overboard with the new phones.
Yeah. Mom, just because we're Facebook friends does not mean you can write I love you all over my wall.
You know what? Other people can see that.
Dad, cool it with the Twitter updates, okay?
I'm sitting on the patio.
I know you're sitting on the patio.
Now at the back-to-school sale, get great deals on messaging phones for the family, like the Motorola Rilo for $29.99. Verizon Wireless.
When we first bought the house, the lawn was nothing but brown. So I called my father-in-law. He's really good with the lawn. He knows exactly what to do.
Well, I told him to use Scott's Turf Builder, and he said, well, I got this stuff. I took it, threw it in the garbage. Cheaper brands have filler, sand, gravel, stuff you don't want on your lawn. Scott's Turf Builder is pure food. Every granule is 100% nutrition. You get what you pay for every time. See what happens, Chris, when you listen to your father-in-law? He's getting the hang of it now.
I still think I got the better lawn.
Me? I don't care what he says.
All food, no filler. That's the Scott's advantage.
The official Gators sports shop for Gator clothing and more. Visit us at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium or log on to Gatorzone.com. Remember, real Gators shop where real Gators play.
Gustafson Farms, owned and operated by local dairy farmers, has teamed up with the University of Florida Gators to provide them with the beverage of champions, chocolate milk.
Good nutrition can make a big difference in your health and performance. Chocolate milk is a great tasting way we make sure our Florida Gators are getting their recommended 3 servings of dairy in their diet every day. Most importantly, chocolate milk provides our athletes with 9 essential nutrients, like calcium and vitamin D, to help build and maintain strong bones.
Gator football and Gustafson Farms, both delivering excellence and tradition in Florida for over 100 years.
think it's hard for the cops to see you at night, but if you don't buckle up, we will find you. Cops are cracking down like never before, so buckle up day and night. Click it or ticket.
Hey Gator fans, are you ready to listen to the game in a whole new way? This live sports radio allows you to listen to the voice of the Gators, Mick Hubert, in real time with no delays. To order, call 1-248-720-0382 or go to livesportsradio.com. Hi, I'm head football coach Urban Meyer. We all want to see the Gators be successful, and that means following NCAA rules, especially when it comes to recruiting student athletes. Remember, ask before you act.
Welcome you back to Florida football. It was indeed a great night in the Swamp. The Gators winning 62-3 on opening night. And as we talked about earlier, the stadium never looked better as the Gators came out of that tunnel. Yeah, it was loud, and the new video walls, and the crowd was terrific. A lot of these are offensive highlights. We'll start off with a defensive one with Brandon Spikes and our defense. They didn't play a lot of football, but they played very well when they were there. And the Gators take over in the next series offensively. Yeah, we talked all week, let's open this thing up, let's take a shot, and here's Tebow. Actually underthrows Coop a little bit, but Coop makes a nice play, a 68-yard first down completion on the first one, and we come right back with a touchdown. And we went to right to no huddle after that play, and here's Jeff Demps on a tight zone for an 8-yard touchdown. It was 4 plays, 89 yards for the Gators score, and then here comes some lightning. And we're going to break down this play here in a minute, but this is a tight zone. This is Chris Rainey, and it's very well blocked, and obviously he's a dynamic player with the ball in his hand. You know, I felt bad for Chris. He's earned more than 1 carry, but when the game got out of hand, you know, he's a dynamic player. 1 carry for 76 yards. Tremendous block, though, up front. Tremendous offense line blocking. 14-0 Gators. They came right back with a 5-play, 67-yard drive. Yeah, here's Coop. Tim actually, we missed it. We call this a hot. We missed a little hot adjustment, but Tim steps up, makes a play. Coop, great run after the catch. And here Dempsey, you know, it was good to see him get in the open field, and we like to attack the safety more, but well blocked. Jeff hits it, obviously, got great speed and a 41-yard rush. On the night, he had 5 carries for a total of 89 yards. And then we come right back to Jeff again with a tight zone play for 11 yards, and he gets it down to the 1-yard line, and we wanted to make sure Tim had a score. So here's Jeff Demps, nice, well blocked again, drops his pads, gets down to 1, and then Tim, very well blocked. Burgess and T.J. Pridemore, the 2 fullbacks here. And it's an isolation play where Tim goes in the end zone and gets the score. Well, for Tebow, it was his 44th career rushing touchdown. That moves him into 4th place all-time in the SEC. And that's something. And when I think of some of the great players in this league, and well-deserved. Here we run a little read play with the bubble component, and Tim pulls it, and we have a very well blocked. You can see Riley Cooper down at the bottom here. Knocks the guy's helmet off. Knocks his own helmet off. Does a great job, and Brandon James, 25 yards. Then we get Aaron Hernandez involved. Little play action pass. We call this levels. Aaron comes across from right to left, and Tim hits him on a 25-yard levels pass. And then Dempsey scoots off to the right side. Once again, a very well blocked offensive line. Blocked very well. Went to no huddle, and 23-yard touchdown by Dempsey. And so 4 plays, 69 yards. The Gators led 28-0. Gators had 1 takeaway defensively in this game, and that was from Major Wright. Well, Charleston Southern had a little double pump here, and they got behind Joe Hayden here. You can see at the top of the screen. Pump it, but our safety did a great job, a little bit like he did in the Oklahoma game, but instead for the big hit, we went for the interception. And then we come back, we went 2-minute here, and this is where we wanted to get some work on this. Tim starts the 2-minute drill off with a 10-yard completion to Riley Cooper into the boundary. Tebow was 10 of 15, 188 yards in less than a half. Scott Leffler did a nice job here, and he's calling this 2-minute drill. And they rolled the coverage into the boundary, and we hit something we call shallow here. Aaron Hernandez on a 19-yard completion. And then we come back again with Aaron makes a nice run here after the catch. 28-yard completion on a little dig, square end. Down here in the boundary, you can see him come inside. Tim threads the needle here, makes a play, and then Aaron, nice job getting the ball in the end zone. And for Tebow, his 29th consecutive game throwing a touchdown pass. And this next one had to happen. It had to happen. Our team worked too hard for it, and the guy did it, deserves this. And this is Brandon James, one of our captains, come a long way, and he hits this. And watch Riley Cooper. Riley Cooper is a very valuable member. Well blocked. And watch number 11 lead number 25 into the end zone. And give Brandon James a hard time. Riley Cooper, I didn't know he was that much faster than Brandon James. But
Just look at the chemistry in the end zone when Brandon James scored.
Gators' first kickoff return for a touchdown in 10 years.
And that's, think about that. Once again, all the great players have played here. Here's another kickoff return. This is T.J. Lawrence getting the action here, and very well blocked by the fullbacks. And you can see T.J. Lawrence knocks it out past the 50, and then Emmanuel Moody has a nice run here, a 23-yard gain.
Yeah, Moody had a nice series of carries. He had 9 carries in the game, 86 yards.
He's a slasher, and you see him do that quite often, get much better with the ball. Very good player for us. And then Johnny Brantley hits Justin Williams. And you can see John, this is the second read. It's top of the screen. He looks at the bender to Doc Holliday, shoots it in there to J-Dub, gets hit. Nice job, nice play. And it was great to see Justin Williams get involved.
His first career touchdown, the Gators led 48-3.
Once again, there could have been many highlight videos on defense, and that's Epps and Sanders make a tackle for loss. Now once again, we go back to Johnny Brantley here, managing the offense with a pass to Frankie Hammond for 13 yards down here on the bottom of the screen. Little play action pass. Call this under.
Brantley was 8 of 12 for 67 yards passing, and he had 40 yards rushing.
Now here he's going to sink the ball. This is our tight zone play. Again, we're reading the end. Johnny sinks it, pulls it, and has a 23-yard run, and then comes back with one of our favorite players, not only mine, but the team's. Comes back and hits really the same play we ran earlier, where he hit Justin Williams. That's Doc Holliday. I think that's his first career score.
It is indeed, and the Gators build the lead 55-3.
Johnny comes back here, and we let him play a little play action pass. There's a name that keep an eye. He had some injuries, but he's a very talented guy, Omaris Hines. And he hits him again here on the little outcut bottom of the screen. And then we get Mike Gillisley. This is a true freshman who started on kickoff. One of our true freshman started for us. He's a tailback from DeLand High School, very talented, tough, and he has 3 carries right in a row. This is an 11-yard gain, come back with a 14-yard gain, and then he finishes. This is all freshmen: Sam Roby, Halapio, Alajejan, David Young, and Xavier Nixon. Very well blocked, and he comes back and hits a 7-yarder for a touchdown. Nice job dropping his pads. T.J. Pridemore is a fullback. He gets it in there for a score.
Gillisley 6 carries, 41 yards rushing. That made it 62-3.
And final, this is 4th and goal. And the crowd was still here. The crowd was still going. Wanted to keep it to a 3-point game. Pintado and Bushell end the night here with a nice play and good pursuit by the defense.
So the Gators wrap up an easy 62-3 opening night victory in the Swamp. The Gators with 26 first downs and 369 yards rushing to go along with the 255 passing, 624 total yards. The Gators had the ball for only 22.5 minutes in the game and ran just 60 total plays in the game. But they certainly made the most of their plays, as we'll take a look now at the Pepsi play of the game.
First down, Gators going left to right. Tebow hands the ball off on running players. Chris Rainey, and Rainey to the 30, Rainey to the 40, Rainey to the 50. He's in the clear at the 35, at the 30, at the 20. There goes Rainey. Oh, down to the goal line. Touchdown.
What made that play so successful?
Well, first of all, our offensive line made us successful. Then you go out and recruit a little bit of speed in the second part. That's what happens. But here, this is tight zone. This is our bread and butter. You can see we're going to get movement. Very well blocked by the interior offensive line. Carl Johnson, Mike Pouncey, Marquise Pouncey. And our job is to get those fast players to the second level of the defense. That's exactly what we did. And then you can see that Deontay Thompson and Riley Cooper and the downfield blocking, and we expect our guys to be the best at blocking group of receivers in the country, and they are. And then, like I said, then we just go out and recruit a little bit of speed, and that's a great job by Rainey getting in the end zone.
Beautiful 76-yard touchdown for the score. Time now to take a look at the Wachovia players of the game. As we look now, Brandon James, he had 123 all-purpose yards, including that electrifying touchdown on the kickoff. And Joe Hayden had 6 solo tackles for the Gators, and those are the Wachovia players of the game. We're just halfway through, a lot more, so you stay with us. We'll continue in just a moment.
Coming up on Florida Football with Urban Meyer, we'll follow the championship Gators to the White House.
When did you become a Gator? Was it when you took your first breath? something took your breath away. Maybe it was when you realized you had a friend for life, or when you stood for something you believed in. Or maybe you were simply standing at the end of your driveway. When did you become a Gator? The University of Florida, the foundation for the Gator Nation.
Hi, I'm Urban Meyer of the University of Florida Gators, and I'm tobacco-free. Now it's your turn. Tobacco-Free Florida wants you to contact the Florida Quit Line for counseling, quit tips, and more. Visit FloridaQuitLine.com to be free.
Whoa!
Cover over here, and make sure you have them covered over here too.
That's right, team. We've got a great defense with Florida Pest Control and Termidor's termite treatment.
Yeah!
For over 60 years, Florida Pest Control has been making sure your home has effective pest protection. Directed by graduate entomologists, our staff is trained the latest pest management techniques.
DR, great team effort. Florida Pest Control 60, termite 0.
At Florida Pest Control, the only bugs we can't control are litter bugs.
Okay, I know. Carol loves to rescue dogs and spends a lot of her time and money doing that.
They're all rescues, yeah. Thank you. So I decided to make my home their home. It's a lot of sacrifice, but it's well worth it. It just makes it a little harder to save for myself.
So we showed her how Wachovia's Way to Save program could help. When Carol uses her check card to make a purchase, $1 is automatically transferred from her checking to her savings account. And she gets a bonus just for saving.
The more I can save from me, the more I can give to them.
Wachovia, a Wells Fargo company.
There's a lot of talk today about being green, but the environment comes in a range of colors. Sure, it can be as green as the grass of summer or as blue as the sky overhead. To me, it's all worth protecting. That's why Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine uses the first treatment process to be certified as an environmentally preferable product. And it's your best defense against rot, decay, and termites. Yep, there are lots of beautiful colors out there, but the best treated lumber is known by just one.
Hi, I'm Tim Tebow of the University of Florida Gators, and I'm tobacco-free. Now it's your turn. Tobacco-Free Florida wants you to contact the Florida Quit Line for counseling, quit tips, and more. Visit FloridaQuitLine.com to be free.
There were many college football players who took touchdowns to the house last year, but there was only one college football team that made it to the White House, as we see in this edition of Inside Gator Football.
Inside Gator Football is brought to you by Scotts.
When you're able to win national championships at this level, you're able to showcase the Crystal Ball trophies, get a keepsake of a lifetime with the national championship ring, and to cap it off, a celebration at a big house. And just not any house.
Thursday, we're going to welcome the Gators to the White House for the official reception. Go Gators!
The Florida Gator football family went to Washington, D.C. last April and became the first championship team to be hosted by President Barack Obama. It was an experience that the players knew was going to be special.
It was an amazing experience just because, just the history of the White House and the tradition it has there, and just, especially with the new president we have, and be one of the first teams to be able to go visit the White House.
Not too many people get to say they got to go in the White House, and then not only go into the White House, get to meet the president and talk to him, shake his hand.
The Gators were able to get the grand tour of the White House. They were able to see the state dining room, the red room, the blue room, and the green room before meeting the president in the East Room.
I really enjoyed being in the red room. I kind of sat on the couches a little bit and kind of took it all in. You walk around and you see all the different pictures and all the different stuff inside the White House. It's really surreal, and it really is it's an amazing experience.
As you can well imagine, the most important piece of equipment to these players on this day, cameras, capturing memories of a lifetime.
but once you get in the White House, they know like the significance of being in the White House, and they mature up real fast, and the guys really enjoyed it, especially with the president we have in there now. It really means a lot to a lot of our guys that he shook every single one of our hands, took the time out of his very busy schedule to come speak to us, and like I said, it's just it was a day that a lot of these guys will never forget.
It was a fitting way to close the book on the 2008 football season. For Inside Gator Football, I'm Steve Babbitt.
Well, those trips always provide memories of a lifetime.
Yeah, great memories, and it's amazing that a lot of our players met last two presidents, and put a price on that one. I mean, that's something they'll tell their children and their children's about. That was a great experience.
Gators win on opening night 62-3, and we'll come right back with more in just a moment.
Coming up on Florida Football with Urban Meyer, we'll give you your all-access pass.
It's hard for the cops to see you at night, but if you don't buckle up, we will find you. Cops are cracking down like never before, so buckle up day and night. Click it or ticket.
There's a lot of talk today about being green, but the environment comes in a range of colors. Sure, it can be as green as the grass of summer, or as blue as the sky overhead. To me, it's all worth protecting. That's why Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine uses the first treatment process to be certified as an environmentally preferable product. And it's your best defense against rot, decay, and termites. Yep, there are lots of beautiful colors out there, but the best treated lumber is known by just one.
Nike, the official apparel and footwear sponsor of the Florida Gators. Nike, just do it. The official Gators sports shop for Gator clothing and more. Visit us at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium or log on to Gatorzone.com. Remember, real Gators shop where real Gators play.
When you disagree with Washington, how come they act like it's your problem? That's what the Democrats have done with health care. They say you're the problem. How about a different way? A focus on things we can all agree on. I'm Michael Steele, chairman of the Republican Party. Join us in supporting a new Seniors' Bill of Rights. Let's agree in both parties that Congress should only consider health reform proposals that protect senior citizens. For starters, no cuts to Medicare to pay for another program. 0. Make it illegal to ration health care based on age. Prevent any government role in end-of-life care. And stop bureaucrats from getting between seniors and their doctors. A few things we should all agree on. The Seniors' Bill of Rights. Oh, and President Obama, it's not too late to change your mind. Stand with us and stand with senior citizens. After all, they've earned it.
Check out the Seniors' Bill of Rights at GOP.com. The Republican National Committee is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Too early, need coffee.
Get him his fix!
Dependence. It's no way to live. But with America's own natural gas, we can conserve energy and rely less on foreign oil. Our country will save billions each week, and it's absolutely priceless for the environment. It's time to break the cycle and clean up our act.
Earn up to $1,350 in rebates. Switch to natural gas. Visit peoplesgas.com.
Gator fans, men's and women's basketball season tickets are now available. Don't miss the action live in the O'Connell Center. For more information, log on to Gatorzone.com/tickets or call 800-34-GATOR. Coach Meyer's Clothing by J.T. Vincent Clothiers of Jacksonville, Florida.
Hey Gator fans, please join me in thanking these major sponsors who make the show possible. Verizon Wireless, Pepsi, Florida Pest Control and Termidor, UF and Shands, Scott's, and by Wachovia. Now let's get back to the show. Here's Mick.
Demps, James, and Rainey ran wild while the defense was all spikes, all right, and all night as we give you all access.
Man, have a great day. How you burn this? Look at my eyes, right real fast. Payday. Payday. You only got 12 shots. After they got 11. Make them count. You're a special group. Take care of each other. All right, boys. Payday.
Now here's
Tebow handing the ball off to Dimps, and Dimps runs right up the middle of the field. Touchdown, Jeff Dimps.
The offensive lineman did a great job of, pushing the defensive line off the ball, and it just opened up a hole, and, I just had to hit it, and it was wide open.
Back to Scotto, he play fake short, now looks to throw long down the left sideline, and the ball is going to be intercepted, picked off by Major Wright.
I was just basically playing the quarterback, read him, and overlapped, and ended up seeing the ball and ended up intercepting the ball.
Tebow hands the ball off on running players. Chris Rainey, and Rainey to the 30, Rainey to the 40, Rainey to the 50. He's in the clear at the 35, at the 30, at the 20. There goes Rainey, all down to the goal line, touchdown.
I seen two receivers on one guy, and they pushed him out, so I was about to run to the sideline, and I came back in, and that was it.
There's Brantley dropping his throw and fires to the end zone. He's got a touchdown to Kane Holiday.
Yeah, it was just fun to get in there. My offensive line did a heck of a job. I give a lot of credit to them. I had a lot of time in that pocket. And, the young receiver stepped up, and they made plays.
Scotto dropping back, now stepping up, looks to run. He'll be hit and dropped. Sacked for a loss. He couldn't get back to the line of scrimmage.
Oh, yeah, I think it was great, just to come out and fly around. We've been beating on each other for the past few months, so it was good to come out. A lot of young guys, they did a great job tonight.
He's on the right sideline, got blockers in front. Down the sideline to the 30, down to the 20, down to the 10, and he will take it all the way for a touchdown from Brandon James. The Gators have a kickoff return for a touchdown.
Return for a Florida Gator touchdown.
It was a short kick, so I just tried to get over and field it, and Coop did a great job of leading up. The Wes did a good job of taking out the first wave of defenders, and I just kind of did the easy job and just ran to the end zone.
Tebow on a play action drops the throw and fires a deep ball down the field for Riley Cooper. Streaky, he makes the catch at the 25, at the 20. Cooper down the left sideline, inside the 10, and out of bounds.
We got to execute a few more things better, but we're always going to be working to get better on things like that. But the effort was there, and guys stepped up and made plays, so it was a good day.
Gator Hotline coming up on Thursday night, September 17th, prior to the Tennessee game out there at Beef O'Brady's 43rd Street. You'll hear it on the Gator Radio Network. And then next week, our pregame show on the Gator Radio Network, 10:15 a.m., kickoff at 12:21, the Gators and Troy. And we invite you to join us for our next show and Breakfast with the Gators, all coming up next Sunday. Right here, check local listings. Gators and Troy get an early start week 2.
Our whole theme this week was, and I love these players. I mean, this is a good team. This is a good bunch of guys, and we're going to keep the pressure on them in practice and keep this thing going. We have 12 opportunities. You're down to 11 now. And then same thing in that home stadium. We've got 6 left. So let's make this next one be even more special than it was last week. And the fans come out early. Our players are going to be ready. We're going to have a real hard week of practice, and I'll make sure they're ready to go. But I want to tell those fans and student body thanks.
Urban, thank you. Congratulations. And that's our show for this time. Thank you for joining us. For head coach Urban Meyer, I'm Mick Hubert. So long, everybody.
The following has been a presentation of Sun Sports and IMG in cooperation with Gator Vision.